Yeah, we need our music.
I know.
Who's got some music suggestions? Because we're doing music tomorrow morning. We need to get like morning
I
going.
know.
Woo!
You
Oh
need
yeah,
to wake up.
music makes the difference,
It
doesn't it?
doesn't it? I
Yeah.
Yeah,
know.
the vibe.
Yes, all the vibe. I love it. We'll do that. So put in the chat what you'd love to hear, what gets you going, some inspo music. The one that's in my head is y'all don't want me to sing.
Baby shark.
No,
No, it's not that one.
no.
I have this little tiny dog that we're babysitting, and her teeth are so sharp, but when she plays, her mouth goes like this, and she's like, "Gah, gah, 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 gah." So I've been singing that song, that baby shark, because her teeth are like a shark. So, all the fun facts that you get when you show up early. All right, here we go. Okay, you guys. Hello, everyone, and welcome. Welcome to the Hot Hustle Show. I'm Jeneth Blackert.
And I'm Leonka Reyna.
And today we're talking with Jamie Wowski, which isn't pronounced right at all, but we had it in the card, so I just had to say it because I'm expecting this conversation to be so wowsy that I just had to do it. Jamie, welcome. You can pronounce your name properly if you want.
It's totally fine. What an introduction. It's Wozni, like the Wizard of Oz.
Wowsy.
And
Oh,
your
love
name
that.
But that's even better.
Wozni. It's easy to remember that way, yeah.
Yeah, that's fabulous. I chose Jamie for the show. This is my first conversation with Jamie. As you've known, I've done this for quite some time, so I often will have this whole preamble on how I met them. But I chose Jamie to be on the show because she really works with empowerment and really that full body empowerment. She's a light worker and she trains people to be better light workers. So we can talk a little bit about that as well. Jamie, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. There's something sometimes where I just fall in love with somebody because of their vibe. You know, I can just tell they're awake and for the lack of a better word, right? And they are here. And that is their purpose and their mission to really change people in the world. So I chose you because when I looked deeper into your work, I thought, wow, she really is all about empowerment and from the place of that energetic lightness. So I'd like to start just a little bit with you sharing, how did you become a light worker? And maybe even share a little bit on how you work with light workers.
Yeah, no, thank you. I love what you're saying. And we can even speak to the feeling someone's vibe too, because I think that's the medicine at the end of the day. You know, it's like we can try so hard, but it really is our energy that's the change maker. And then it's like, oh God, I can rest a little bit in my day knowing that like that's the impact. Gosh, how did I become a light worker? Well, 10 years ago, I had my own physical symptoms going on that at the time Western medicine, I'm a fan of balance, but at the time it wasn't enough for what was going on with me. And so I went on my journey. I was like, okay, I met a Reiki master. It's so funny to think about now, but I had no idea what that was. And was like, okay, I could use some energy healing. And so I just tried everything I possibly could, you know, probably all the things everybody's tried that you'll mention. And then just it became a fascination and a curiosity. And I just studied and learned and became passionate. And here I am today.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of good to hear because usually I feel inadequate. No, just kidding. Because I haven't had like a near-death experience or something like that, thank goodness. But so many people come to this work because they've had to do so much healing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's kind of nice to know, yeah, there's some of us that just follow the energy to get to exactly where we are.
Yeah. Well, my body I was dealing with a lot of like unexplained mystery symptoms, which I feel like a lot of light workers are. And
Interesting.
we're sensitive souls as well. And so, you know, I didn't know, oh, I could be picking up on other people's energy or, tuning into something, or, oh, my people pleasing was causing this because I was overgiving, or, there's so many
Yes.
reasons.
Yes.
And so, yeah, was that fun? No, it's probably one of the harder times of my life experiencing that and going into a system that told me, I mean, the amount of times I heard, we don't know what's wrong with you. I'm sure you guys and people listening can relate to that if you've experienced
Yeah.
symptoms, and it's scary. And then, but it does. That's why I'm so big about empowerment, because I had to go on this journey of like, you got to look somewhere else, child, because you're not getting what you need with the current, how the current system is set up.
What made you look to, and I know that Reiki is like, and you're, one of those words, and one of those words that, like, if I first heard it, and I think it's funny that you kind of laughed about it. You're like, I didn't even know what that was, because that's how I was on this journey, right? But what made you kind of turn to that way? Like, did you just hear it somewhere? Were you seeing other people experiencing, you had seen somebody, experiencing kind of healing, or was it just kind of in your realm? I mean, some things just keep showing up for you, and you're like, okay, I hear you.
Yeah. I mean, this is the honest answer. I think life led me here. Life led me to that.
Yeah.
Because I was so opposite of this. Like, I grew up thinking Diet Coke was like super healthy, and like that's what you do when you're trying to be healthy.
Yes.
And I remember, it's funny, I had a roommate at the time who I just thought was cool. It had nothing to do with anything other than we vibed. And she would shop at Trader Joe's, and she meditated. These were the two things.
Yeah. That's really funny.
First of all, I thought it was crazy you sit by yourself for a half hour in the bedroom. I was like, this girl is missing out on life. Like, I need to talk to her and start an intervention here.
Yeah, right.
And the other thing,
That's
I thought Trader Joe's was ridiculous at the time because
it's really funny too.
couldn't use coupons. And I was like a coupon queen.
Girl, yes, I'm right there. I'm like, what?
Yeah. And so the irony is, well, first of all, I love Trader Joe's now because it brings me joy. I just go for the awesome people. And I meditate clearly. And yes, and the free coffee samples. But I think like I needed to be around somebody. Like, she was this first thing that I feel like the universe put in my life.
Yeah.
That I needed to be around it and like have these little things sprinkled in. And then now I am that, which is so crazy, so anyway.
It's so crazy and yet so not crazy. And that's what's so magnificent and beautiful about the whole journey. And about you sitting here across from us today, talking about, all of these wonderful things, right?
Yeah, can you take us into the tools that you use to actually change people? If you were working on people pleasing for one of your clients, can you take us into some of the tools and processes that you use to help them become aware to change that?
Yeah. So I have a very large toolkit. Just being so passionate about it for 10 years, it's a blessing and a curse, because some people are like, I just use this thing or these couple things. Yeah. And so for me, it's an incredibly intuitive process.
Sure.
I am a seer through and through, meaning psychic intuitive. And so when I sit in a group or I sit with a person, that's the first tool I'll use, where I'll be like, I'll even ask in my mind, I learned this from one of my teachers. I'll say, what's the one thing this person needs to hear that will give them the biggest shift? And I just get quiet and I listen. And then, a lot of times I'm huge on assisting people to process their emotions, just that. I find that over and over again in my groups, we're taught to not feel our things or to feel shame around it, or that it's wrong, or we're too big, or we're too much. So just using the emotional tools, the somatic tools, to say, how do I move an energy? How do I move an emotion through my body so that I can hear my own heart, so that I can connect to my own inner wisdom? I'm a big fan of EFT.
I am too.
Yeah, I'm
not any longer, really. I found other tools that are faster.
Oh, you have to fill me in.
Yeah, right.
It's funny too. Sometimes I'll pause on things and then they'll come back in. And EFT's kind of been like that for me.
Yeah, me too.
Because sometimes I'll sense, okay, a person needs just this little opening. So I'll meet them with something I may have used back then that's a
Yeah.
little more accessible or something like that. But yeah, and consciousness healing, just reminding people of a lot of it's teaching and remembering too. Just the tool of like, hey, did you know self love is available to you? And by existing on that level of consciousness, we can heal our body and explaining it like we would have when we were younger and didn't know. So
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes it's one question away to change a body. Years ago, I joked
I
that
love
I got
that.
somebody pregnant from just a conversation, right?
I do remember that.
Right? That was
Yeah.
crazy. Two women actually
Yeah.
got pregnant that same year. And really, what it came down to was getting them so energetic aligned with nurturing themselves.
That's it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And sometimes there's other things you got to open up some energy in certain areas, but I find that wow, and I, clearly I didn't get her pregnant, but I think it was so funny
But
that
they struggled. They were really struggling
for years.
Yeah. Getting
Yeah.
pregnant
Yeah.
and that awareness.
It's so awesome. Well, would you like to just open the lineup for some callers so you can work with them and process, or do you want to kind of go
Let's do
deeper
this.
in this conversation? Okay, great.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And then we can, even if there's an extra question we want to go into or whatever, I'm happy to flow.
Nice.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. So go ahead and raise your hand to take Jamie for a session. You can also write it in the chat. Jamie, is there what kind of information do you need to know to begin? Should they just give you a couple sentences about what the issue is that's going on?
Yeah, I like to know people's I understand we all have a story, but we don't necessarily need to go too deep into it for this to work, which is nice. So just briefly I always say if you have a magic wand and you could wave it, is there a desire of like, Jamie, I really want this thing. It's like so deeply on my heart. And then maybe if you're aware of what's blocking it, you don't know, we'll talk it through to bring it to the light.
Nice.
Great. All right, you guys, just go ahead and raise your hand and we will get started right now. All right, Kim, it looks like you're the first pop-up. Kim, go ahead, ask your question.
Hi, Jamie.
Hi, Kim.
Hi. So I feel like mine is more about being seen and being heard, like coming out into not hiding. Maybe it's not hiding.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. That was my journey too. Are you aware of what the pattern is that's occurring, or even just speak to what you're aware of? Like, why are you sharing that with me?
I procrastinate. So it's like I go, I'll start. And then it's kind of I kind of hold back. I feel like some of it's around support, having the support that I need to do it. And then I can get stuck in the technical stuff, but I feel like I have that part to kind of squared away and taken care of now. And now it's just more of me not worrying or caring about what other people think or the judgments and all of that.
Tell me about the support, how you feel unsupported in it.
It's like if I go to my family, it's not for my family because it's out there, so it's different, right?
Yeah.
So that I don't feel like I can share it with them. I've tried and that doesn't work. So then I feel like all the judgments and that starts coming. I'm like, okay, those aren't your people, so stop doing that.
Yeah.
And then, but just starting to get out there. Before I raised puppies, I raised Imperial Shih Tzu for 15 years, and I had no problem at all sharing them. I had no problem at all doing that, even though there was a lot of judgment and criticism on doing that even, but it didn't faze me. I just did it.
Yeah.
Where it's this whole spiritual other stuff is I don't know. It's really interesting.
It makes sense. I was there too. I understand exactly how you feel. Okay. Where are you? Because we're just meeting. So where are you on your self-love journey when I say that to you? Is that I practice that? I don't know, James.
I feel like I'm there a little bit. Like I'm there, like I feel like I can, like I'm more loving towards others more than myself.
Yeah,
Like I
yeah,
can show it for others, but I have a hard time like doing it for myself.
yeah, yeah. Okay. So if we experience the judgment and criticism innocently, that's where people can meet us, right? When you're growing up,
Mhm.
those neural pathways, so the wiring in your brain is going to be you're going to do that to yourself. And so we don't see, and so I want you to see that you're doing this innocently. We don't see that, and I did this too. When we go out there in our and shine our light and be our beautiful spiritual self with our gifts, we're scaring ourselves. We are criticizing ourselves. We are judging ourselves
Mm,
because it was what we were trained to do. So I'm going to show you a possibility that's like over here that maybe one day, hopefully today, we'll have a miracle, or I'm just saying like this is a possibility you can get to. That when you're over here and you found this self-love portal where you support and accept and love yourself for who the totality of who you are, it doesn't even come into your field other people's judgment and criticism. And if you're aware that they're judging and criticizing you, there's this like, and I'm going to say magical, but like there's this energy field, protective vortex around you that just doesn't let it in. That's why
mm,
they say love is medicine, love is healing, because your love for yourself is an energy field. Science has shown us that. So it takes up the whole space of your body. And then that other stuff can't even come in. So this is where it takes humility and so much compassion for ourselves to say, okay, I learned this pattern of criticism and judgment. And so, ooh, whoa, could I be open to the possibility that maybe I'm doing it to myself to keep myself safe from their perceived judgment and criticism? And that the next level of your medicine, which I'm going to prescribe to you of self love today, which we'll talk about in a minute, that if I do this, the fear of judgment and criticism is actually not going to happen because I've got my own back. So what do you hear in that?
mm. It's all comes from the heart. And I know when I feel like I'm in my heart space and like things come down and through the heart and it goes out, like I feel untouchable and unstoppable.
Untouchable.
Yeah.
That's it. I felt it when you
Mhm.
said that of like that's what you're looking for, is that we think
Mhm.
we're looking for it in other. And yes, on one
Mhm.
level we are. I don't want to get super weird and out there because we are humans.
Mhm.
But it's always a reflection of what am I looking for in myself, my own self-belief, my own self-patience, my own self-compassion, to
Mm.
be untouchable, to be the door opener, to like, whoa, things are coming in now. Or like you were saying, procrastination, that's so innocent. That's just protecting you from more of the criticism and judgment, you know? So here's my question for you. If right now this whole group and your family and your friends could say one thing to you or two things that would make you feel so safe going out there, you know, like you were saying, I want to be seen, I want to be heard, I'm in your gifts, in your soul purpose, in the truth of who you are. What could your family say to you? What could we say to you that would be like this weight off of your shoulders? Okay, I can go do whatever I want to do now. And I'll give you some examples if nothing comes to you, but I want to see what you say first.
I know. I'm like sitting here like, like you got this. Like go do it. Like you got this is what comes to me.
Yep. So if your family, when you were just like, guys, this is what I'm going to do with my life, and they were all like, you got this, would that be like, oh, I can go do this now? Or do you need to hear anything else?
Mm,
And that might be it. I'm just picking your brain.
that feels like that's what it is.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to invite you to put your hand on your heart. And for anybody else listening where this resonates, because we all come together with matching energies. I just want you to say to yourself right now, and you don't even have to believe it yet. We're just trying this on for size. You got this. So Kim, if you want to say, you don't have to say it out loud, but if you want to try it on and say it out loud.
Like say, you got this, or I got this.
To yourself,
You got
like little Kim, you got this.
You got this.
Yeah. So I'm going to say it to you. You got this.
You got this.
And if anyone else wants to, you got this to Kim in the chat, let her know if that resonates with you. So this is what I'm going to invite you to do this week, Kim. This is going to be, I'm not going to say this is going to be easy right away, because it might be challenging because of how we were wired, how you were wired. I'm going to share a little story. I was in the kitchen and I was super triggered by my partner, and I was enraged, and I paused, because this is a tool I share with many people. And I was cooking and pissed, and I said to myself, what do you need him to say to you? Like what I just did with you. What do you need him to say to you right now? Like, what are you pissed that you're trying to get out of him? And it was, I wanted him to say, I care, and you're not alone. And so I disconnected myself from that external reality momentarily. This doesn't mean we don't take action steps that are intuitively guided in the outside world, but I cooked my food and I turned it to myself and I said, Jamie Lois, I care. And I repeated it for about 4 or 5 minutes, not from my head, from my heart. I care. I'm here, sweetie. I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. I care. I care. I care. You know, I got this. You got this. You got this. You got this. You got this. Within 4 minutes, my energy completely shifted, and the person was still the same, in the same energy. I had a vortex of peace around me, unaffected. He even was like, you're different. What did you do? You were just cooking your dinner. And so we can hear self-love and we're like, what does that do? Or do I just look in the mirror and say, I love myself? But when we give ourselves what we're craving from the outside world, all of a sudden I didn't need it from the outside world. And then what happens is when we're whole from within, the outside world can just easily give us things. So I was able to say to him when I calmed down, hey, you know, it really helps me when you say to me, I care, or you're not alone, because I could say it from a place of wholeness. And now he just knows, if he freely wants, you know, he can say those things too, but he doesn't need to for me to be okay. So this is something, when you're triggered or outside of being triggering, this will help you move through to be untouchable.
That's beautiful.
That's super helpful. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, so something, can I say something and then I'll let you, because it's bursting outside of me. Sometimes it is just one question away. I had a coach that looked at me directly in my eyes and said, you can do this. Can you not? And we were talking about like going out into the field and really changing something, right? And I was kind of doubting it, and I was being outside of myself instead of actually in my own body. And when he said it that way, like, you can do this. Can you not? Like, there are people out there doing this, like the magic and the possibilities all the time. You know, what's so special about you that you would not be able to do this? And that one question really changed me. I was like, yeah, of all the people in the world, of course I can do this. And I think when you get that and you get to, yes, I can, I got this.
Yes.
You know, it's really a difference. So it's beautiful.
Good. Beautiful.
Great.
Thanks, Kim.
All right. Thank you, Kim. That was great. Our next caller is Manisha. I think I said it correct. Manisha?
Yep. Yes,
Great.
you have. Thank you so much.
Perfect.
Yeah, thank you. Jamie, I'd love some help with the tool, perhaps. I have had, what I've put in the chat is abundance in all areas of my life. And what I've experienced is a lot of betrayal. So from my father, from family, ex-husband. So that's one of the things I've been dealing with.
Yeah. Okay. And your abundance in all areas of your life, what does that look like?
Well, I'm 65 years old, so I'd love to have an amazing, loving partner. So I've been single for more than maybe 25 years, so a long time. And
Mm,
yes, so in a loving relationship, um, I'd love to do a lot of philanthropic projects for empowerment of women in my late mom's name. So just having abundance, meaning I could do everything I want to. Lots of help other women. So that's where I'm stuck. I'm stuck with the betrayal that's reduced me to not being not feeling supported actually in life.
yeah. Yeah. And be with this energy. It's beautiful that it's here, not feeling supported. So I'm just going to start here with you, and we're just going to say to ourselves, I'm so sorry you haven't been supported for a very long time. You can say that out loud with me to yourself.
Okay. I'm so sorry that I haven't been supported all this time.
Yeah. I'm so sorry that nothing I do gets me support.
I'm so sorry that nothing I do gets me any support.
I'm so sorry that I long for this relationship,
I'm so sorry that I long for this relationship,
but it will just betray me.
but it'll just betray me.
Yeah. So I want it, but I may as well protect myself from it too.
I might as well protect myself from it as well.
And I'm sorry I've had to experience all that.
I'm sorry I had to experience all this.
I want you just to tune in. Whatever comes is fine. This little one that feels betrayed. Are you aware of what she would need to eventually one day feel safe letting this feeling go, process, resolve? Just kind of ask her, what would you need, sweetie, for us to heal this one day?
So the minute you started asking me was, a very big hug kept coming into my mind. So I'd love a very big hug.
From an actual person, from yourself, from both?
From both.
Yeah. Okay. So if we say to her, and you don't have to say this out loud, but just in your mind, I'm gonna find us. Very big hug, sweetie.
Very big hugs.
Do you feel safe eventually letting this go if we always have very big hugs for the rest of our life?
Yes, yes, yes.
So let's ask her, how would she like to go about getting these very big hugs?
So the answer I'm getting is to trust in the divine process and divine timing
Mm.
and surrender.
Was there any way she wants to practically go about also getting the hugs?
I have no clue. No, it's just to believe in myself, but no practical.
No practical? Okay.
That I could
Perfect.
take.
So, between you and her, what is the opposite of not feeling supported?
Feeling loved.
Feeling loved. And what's the opposite of betrayal to you and her?
Again, feeling loved.
Feeling loved. Okay. Could she open to the possibility that that could live in her first?
Yes.
And that the world could follow second?
Yes.
Okay. So, what would she need to hear? Kind of like we just did with Kim. But what phrase, what word, what anything would she need to know she was loved?
You're awesome. I don't know. This kept coming to me.
You're awesome. I love that. Okay, so let's try it on for size. Let's go, and I'll say it with you. Well, first of all, let's see. Manisha, you're awesome.
Manisha, you're awesome. Thank you. I'm sort of sorry to interrupt. I'm so visualizing my little self just jumping with joy.
Yeah. I want you to say this 5 times to her, and everybody can join in too energetically. You're awesome.
You're awesome. Thank you, Jamie.
Yeah, I want you to say one more thing.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to say out loud, it's possible
It's possible
that I can be so awesome,
that I can be so awesome,
that I could have always been so awesome,
that I could have always been awesome.
and they didn't have the capacity to feed that back to me
And they didn't have the capacity to feed that to me
at the same time that I was awesome.
at the same time that I was awesome.
Yeah. Good. Take a deep breath there. So just like Kim, I want you to see if you can play with this week.
Mm-hmm.
And drink in this medicine and then let it slowly expand from there, because yeah, that's going to open up you feeling more loved from you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
You know, sort of meant to get this healing from you. Thank you, ladies, because I'm actually joining you from London.
Thank
and I
you.
just, you know, stumbled upon, and I was checking the time difference, and then yeah. So thank you very much for this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And can we just all give her a virtual hug?
Yay!
Yay! Big hug.
Oh, Deneth, I'm glad you just said that. Can I teach a self hug real quick?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it like Happy Days?
It reminded me. Well, this is actually a somatic healing tool, and they've
Okay.
done studies where it sends the exact same neurotransmitters up to the brain as if someone was giving you a hug.
Okay. Nice.
So, hand under the armpit,
Does it matter which one?
doesn't matter which one.
Okay.
And you can flip flop one hand over and on the shoulder. And so just kind of relax into this. This is a self hug. And I'm going to ask you 2 questions, and all I want you to do is notice. So, could you notice what it feels like to be hugged by you? So, when I ask that, I want you to notice the arm that's underneath, because it's being hugged.
Oh.
Just notice that underneath arm, notice that sensation. Could you notice what it feels like to be hugged by you? Just take a breath there. And then could you notice what it feels like to hug you? So that's becoming aware of the arm on top. This is you saying, I got this. So we're just noticing that. Good. And you can sit like this for 60 seconds a few times a day. Calming the body, sending love transmitters to the neurotransmitters to the brain. Good.
That was never had somebody teach a self hug before.
You know,
There you
Jamie,
go.
some of these, we kind of joked earlier when we started about, you know, your friend sitting in meditation and missing out on life, right? So, but we were joking, but some of these ideas have become, and I'm so excited about it now, much more mainstream. In fact, I just watched, and shout out to J-Lo, love her, hate her, whatever, right? But she actually has a whole, like the whole new documentary, right? And I thought it was really interesting that she had the whole thing was called The Greatest Love Love Story Never Told. And really everything came back to loving yourself. And she had the younger version of herself, and she's sending love to her younger version. And so if that's not a testament to this type of work today, and how important it is to love our little selves, and to send love to ourselves, then I don't know what is, right? Because she's super mainstream. but But whatever that is, it's like this work is permeating throughout the world, and these different tools that you're sharing here are just so important right now. And I thank you for that. And do you have anything to share on how, how we can continue to share this with more people?
Yeah, and I think, I'm super spiritual, so I don't necessarily need the science, but I appreciate the science and the research. And I think
Yes.
nowadays, one of the women I've studied with over the last few years was originally a Western medical ER doctor. And then she got into energy healing and all of this. And she realized that there is research and science now when we give ourselves compassion, when we give ourselves love, it actually physically heals the body. They've had, stories of cancer healing, suicidal depression healing, panic attacks and anxiety healing. And the quest I'm on right now, same thing. I'm learning healing through compassion as well, which is why I'm sharing all of this. This man who literally traveled the world, studied every modality, became a monk, shaved his head, did all the things, and realized plant medicine's like every possible everything, and realized that through everything he studied, compassion was the quickest, self-directed compassion was the quickest, easiest thing to shift your finances. Like, this is why it's like, it can be in any
big.
area. Shift your relationships. Like, I could have had an entire night of not talking to my partner, but because I gave myself medicine in the kitchen, I had a beautiful night with him. So I think when we realize the profundity of this, it's not just some thing.
Right.
It brings in abundance. It shifts your bank account. It brings intimacy into relationships. It expands your business. It heals your body. Like, what the heck? When we know that, it's like, well, why not find the phrase, I wish my family would have told me, and give it to myself? And if anybody can relate, I know for me, I used to be so mad at self-love because I always thought it meant I had to settle. I was like, oh, so I just have to do this for myself. Like, that sucks. I want the big hugs and all the thing everybody's talking about. But the irony is, when we give it to ourselves first, it doesn't mean we have to settle. It just means I get to go on this beautiful love affair with self, and others can follow suit because I'm whole and complete. I don't have any neediness or graspiness, and then they can love me freely,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That makes me, and every time I always say I want to do cartwheels, that makes me so excited. I feel like we should be yelling this from the rooftops.
Yeah.
Friends that are on the line today, share this, right? Like, that's what changes the world, is when we're self-healing so that others can, so we're putting that out to the world so that the world can change with it. Does that make sense? Like, I mean, when we're healed, then others can follow suit because we're not pulling or having expectation or need from an outside source.
Yeah. And it's hard to find, especially, I grew up with a very codependent patterning.
Yes.
Gave all my power away. Everything was outside of myself. I didn't love myself,
Yes.
And so it's the most potent doorway to enter. And then sometimes we don't even feel like we have access to it because no one gave us, we were talking about with Kim, we didn't have that patterning. So it's like, can I do this? This is awkward. Is this allowed? What is this? Is this selfish? And it's just, if you're in that boat, it's so safe and nothing bad happens with it. Only good happens with it.
I just wanted to, what came through my head was heart math. Right?
Yes.
That's a massive company that really studies love. I had done that once with their little thing that you put on your finger to see how aligned I was with love. And it took me a minute to get in. And one of the facilitators was like, think of something or somebody, and it could be a dog that you just absolutely adore, and just bring in the first moment you saw that someone or saw that animal, and you just had that heart, feeling. And that was what brought me into the frequency of love, was really getting in touch with, it was a dog that I have lost now. Still miss her so much.
I know.
But it was like, oh, well, I guess I can resonate. So just, a thought. So if you're having trouble with this frequency, then maybe think of something, a memory, and just get so wrapped up in that memory from that time. Yeah. It's beautiful.
And also, I'm not a huge fan, and it's okay if you are, this is just me personally or anyone. I'm not a huge fan of affirmations because sometimes they don't have a resonance of truth for us.
Agreed.
So I don't want you to leave thinking, oh, I just have to say I love you if you don't necessarily feel it yet. It's more finding that phrase or finding that truth that that feels a little soft and you can allow it in. So some of the first self-love phrases I learned were like, it's okay, just that. Like, it's okay you're having this internal experience right now. It's okay you're nervous. It's okay you're excited. It's okay you're numb. It's okay. And just it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay you're afraid of being betrayed. That's enough. And so it doesn't have to go to like, I'm the best person in the world and I deserve all good things if you don't feel that yet.
Right.
But you can get there.
Yes.
We don't have to lie to ourselves is all.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's more important that we resonate with what we're saying. And if it's just giving ourselves grace by it's okay, then let that be. Be happy with, just know that that moves and changes as well.
Always.
Yeah.
Let's take one more, Pat. I've been watching you walk around in the back. You're up.
Hello, thank you. Thank you, Jamie.
Hello.
So nice to experience everything with everyone too.
Oh, yay.
Yeah, I have to keep my body moving because I'm feeling vertigo or lightheadedness a lot. And then it seems to in the evening it gets more balanced. But do you have a message for me on that or?
Tell me a little bit more about it so I can feel into you.
Well, it's, I just feel unbalanced. And so I get guided to get up and walk around and move my body. And I get out in nature. I have to be out in nature with the trees and everything too. And I do meditations out there with the trees.
Have you learned about, studied, tell me where you're at with this because we're just meeting, masculine and feminine energy balance?
Oh, okay. Sometimes I call on that too, so I should call on that more.
Do you know this? Like, what do you know about that world?
Well, on the left side, it's the female, on the right, it's the male. And so I was saying, I call on my divine feminine and divine masculine to be in harmony and balance.
Well, you got it. That's exactly the phrase right there. I have a sense of there's something that wants to come more into balance with this. So that would be a beautiful world for you to explore. And so just for now, and for everybody who's listening as well, with just the small amount of time we have, masculine is a lot about doing and feminine is a lot about being.
Yes.
Masculine is thinking, leading, analyzing, all beautiful. And then the feminine is the intuition, the feeling, the depths, the darkness, the moving, the dancing.
Yes. And so when I feel a strange energy and I don't know where it's coming from, I'm guided to breathe through my heart and send love.
So
stay in the moment, stay in the moment of time.
Yes. When I say these words to you, and you may know or you may not know, are you aware of, you're like, maybe I'm a little out of balance in this area? Do you overthink, overdo, overpush, any of that, or no?
No.
Okay.
Sometimes worries come up, but I just kind of send them love and then I have to feel it. Feeling it is important.
Yes. Okay, good. Yeah. Be curious. My instinct for you is just to be curious about which part of my masculine and feminine want to come back into balance.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Thank you so much for your help. I appreciate this.
Yeah.
And Pat, if you can stay on, we have a medical intuitive coming on later. So that she might give you a little more awareness about that too. That's great. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, Jamie, let's talk a little bit about the program that you offered the group. I'm gonna go ahead and pull up the
thank
page.
you for that. I know that
That's
you
like a whole
put this
course.
together for us specifically, and so this is a way to dive a little bit deeper to to work with you specifically, and I think these concepts, and while they're deep, period. But sometimes we can, in our minds, think, "Oh, that's easy," but really, it's the acknowledgement and the actual work that gets us gets us free. We can conceptually do all these things. Yeah, I do that. But sitting down, doing the things, going through the work, having the acknowledgement, wouldn't you say that's the most important parts that we kind of sometimes overlook?
Oh yeah, definitely.
And wouldn't you even say, especially, I always say, call it, I don't want to say a coach's curse or anything like that, but if you're a coach or you're a facilitator, sometimes it's even, and you're a light worker or a healer, like many people on these calls, sometimes it's things that we kind of overlook because we know this stuff, and it's important to work with someone.
Yeah, it's, for me too, I always say, be around somebody who embodies where you'd like to go next. Because they're living it, and so
Yes.
being in group, being in circle, immersing yourself in knowledge and study or just embodiment of it, really helps override those, not necessarily override, but heal from those old patterns that are sometimes screaming a little bit louder,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk about this 8-week course.
Cool.
That you put together for everyone. It really takes you through kind of all the steps to find yourself, right? To find the light worker within you.
Yeah, these were, I put together 8 topics that were most asked to me. And they were like, okay, these things are recurring. What are the steps to really live in your authentic truth, to really shine your light, to really live your soul purpose, honestly, like why you came on the planet? How can I assist you in connecting to that and living in that and healing this pain that's in the way? And these were the doorways to it.
So it's like on the spot research that you did with all the people that have been asking all these questions.
Totally.
Yeah.
One thing I get about you is that you are, quite more embodied than some of the people that are in this world, maybe even, right? You just are like, yeah, I'm here. Let's go through this, more than other people are just in this like, yeah, I'm struggling with this, fighting with this. I'm, throwing my arms up around this. And you're just, yeah, I've done my work. Let's go.
Yes.
I'm happy
Exactly.
to support you.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about the package or the different courses.
Can we go through each item real quick and what they're
Please.
going to learn?
Sure. So lesson 1 is your heart's longings. This was an exercise that I did years ago and I still continue to do, where you really tap into your own truth, your own heart. And I notice this from all the people I've worked with as well. We're not told like dream big, desire, have the whole candy shop. You're just like, oh shoot, can I have a bite of the Twix, please? That would be nice. Oh wait, no, I'm allergic to that. I can't have that. And we're like, why do I feel unsatisfied in life?
Right. Isn't that like I guess most people have some level of dissatisfaction no matter what.
Yeah. Well, it's tough. And we're not, again, this lesson is that permission. This lesson is like, okay, let me find the sanctuary within my own heart's voice. What do you want? What do you desire? And it's just reinstilling, reconnecting to that voice within you that has got your back, that wants these great things with you. So it's opening that permission.
So then we've got part 2 for your heart longing.
Yeah. So it's just split into 2 parts, what I just said.
Fabulous.
Awesome. I imagine it does take a little bit of 1 and 2 to really get in there, right? Like this
I think it
work
takes
is
more
hard.
than 1 and 2, but it's,
Yeah.
Definitely
it
facilitated.
all helps.
Yes, because we're not used to it. And then lesson
Right.
2 brings it to life. It's like, okay, now I have an awareness of what's going on inside of me. How do I actualize this? So I teach tools of how to, manifesting is an interesting word. I see it now also more as like magnetizing. So how can I be an energetic match? How can I be in that frequency of love, that resonance of love, to call forth that which I desire? So I teach
Yes.
how to bring it
Love
into
that.
reality.
Yeah, that's well said.
Yeah. And these are just the main light worker blocks I've come across. The fear of shining, especially like, the word I get a lot for myself is Jamie, you're a light. And as beautiful as that is, that can be scary when you come into a family. We talked about this earlier, like that doesn't see that doesn't understand it. We don't have schools for light workers when we're, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And so there's some work that we need to do to clear that and release that. So I take us through some tools. If anybody is like the same, fear of being seen, fear of being heard, fear of being abundantly rewarded for who I am, we clear that in this lesson.
That's huge.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And then this one I love. I used to lead classes just on this lesson at the meditation studio where I taught, which is getting in touch with your purpose. Like what actually brings me joy? What lights me up? Just to gain some clarity and direction in why am I on the planet? And then for me, one of the things, and Jonathan, what you were saying before of like, okay, let's do the work. Now I'm here to do it. One of my biggest medicines is courage. And so this lesson really is that like fire lit of offering you bravery, offering you courage, because if you're on this call, you are a leader. Like we're here doing it differently. And so yes, from one leader to another, this is a reminder of, hey, this is who you are. And it is going to require you that doorway and that medicine of a little bit more courage so that you can go shine your light and live your purpose in the world.
Yeah, everyone needs that potion.
Yes.
It was funny when I think it was Kim who was talking about like not speaking and finding her voice. When I started these sessions, I was so like shaking in my shoes, and even getting the speakers, when we started this, we were bringing in like some really high-end speakers from The Secret and things like that. And I was like, literally my whole body was like full on shake, but I had a partner, it wasn't Lianka at the time, that pushed me. And he was like, if you want this, we have to. And, and it was just those little baby steps that I like forced myself to do it. And then finally I got better at it.
It's hard to imagine you being in that space, but it is kind of nice to know that with facilitation, with like you said, being around the people that are embodying it, that we can have the invitation to step up and be bigger and be better, and then we get better at it.
Totally.
So, wow. Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's
Sometimes
huge.
we don't realize courage is exactly just what we needed. Like maybe we already have the skills, we already have the knowledge, we already have the intuition. It's like, oh, I just need this. It's in We Bought a Zoo, that movie with what's his name?
I can't remember much about
Matt
it.
Matt Damon. He says, if you could just have 5 seconds of courage. And I love that because sometimes it's the, oh God, to send this email or to go live or to pick up the client call or whatever it is. It's like, I can do that. It's just a terribly uncomfortable feeling.
Well, there is so much judgment in this world that you want to put a front because whatever you do, you're going to be judged.
Yeah.
I mean, you can pretend that you're not being judged and go for it. But in general, you might as well put your best foot forward because you are going to be judged. It's kind of my point of view. Yeah. So I'm like, judge me, judge me. We had a coach that said the more judgment you can receive, the more money you make.
Yeah, like almost $5,000 per judgment.
$5,000
All
per
right.
strong judgment.
I'll pay.
But you have to receive the judgment. There's a big difference
almost
between
like-
fighting a judgment.
I always do
right?
this, like brush your shoulders off. It's like that you know, what you explained to, I think it was Kim at the beginning of the call. It was that it won't even phase you, like it won't even matter. You will be bigger than the judgment, and it won't permeate through. And that's how I received it. But I think you say much better words. Okay,
Well,
number
bravery,
7.
yes. We choose bravery.
We like that lesson. We like that lesson.
Yes.
So 7, I'm a huge teacher of mind, body, spirit. I believe it's real. I take a holistic view of let's integrate it on all levels. And 7 brings it home to the brain, to wiring it in the body, to saying, I have all of this beautiful self-love. Now, how do I integrate it on a brain level and actually rewire my neural pathways to be in alignment with my truth, not my socialization? So we move that in that lesson, which is so important.
That's fabulous. And then we've got 8, which is a oh, there's 9.
Yes, I think we added in a bonus lesson. So lesson 8 is, you know what? I think that's why the reason I had said 8, 1 and 2 is both about heart's longings. So from pain to gratitude is interesting. This takes us out of victim consciousness, which is so innocent. I was there for a really long time. And when we're living at that level, life just looks like all pain, and it's so challenging. And again, I'm a self-love teacher. We must meet ourselves with love in that space. But when we start to see from the eyes of gratitude of how could this be happening for me? Oh my God, does that clear so much energy and show you how extraordinary life is? And so I just give you glasses to look from a completely different lens to offer you the relief of, I've never seen my life from this perspective.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, it's funny with gratitude, and this is for me.
Yeah.
We had a whole conversation with Jen Huff on that, just like really falling in love. And one of the things I said on that call that kind of shocked, I think, the audience at the moment was like, if something hasn't shown up in your life and you are deeply in gratitude because you know that it's coming to you, then your frequency is as if it's already shown up.
Yes.
Right. And I just think, I guess when I was younger, I didn't think much about gratitude. I just didn't think about gratitude at all. I just went forward in life. But as I've gotten older, I feel it's time now to, really be in gratitude, even for those things that haven't even shown up in our lives. So love that you put that in.
That's a tough one. And sometimes too, the gratitude I enjoy as well on the other end is like, thank you for this pain that I don't even know what the gift is in this yet. Like, thank you for the gift that is about to arrive through this that I'm unaware of.
Oh, amen, sister. Yeah.
Absolutely.
That takes a lot of courage to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the last lesson is just called soul connection. And what that does is it's literally a plugging you back into your soul. Again, because when we're not given permission to be these leaders of light and in our purpose and experiencing the truth of who we are, we do leave our bodies. We do disconnect from the truth of who we are to stay safe. So this is like, after we've done that healing, I want to come back home to me and to give myself permission to be the totality of who I am and receive the abundance as that version in the world. So this is that final plug-in back in to send you out into the world.
That's right. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Fabulous. Wow. What a great package. It just seems like it really. Now, are each of these audios, are they audios or videos? And
Videos.
How long do they're videos?
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how long do they run in general, or are
They're all different. They're all different. You got 20 minutes.
Okay.
And we do real-time healing in them. And so, yeah, they're all a little bit different and dynamic.
Nice.
But
That's
yeah,
fabulous.
digestible, not too much, because I know how full our lives can be.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Jamie, for putting that together.
You're
Do we
welcome.
want
I'm
to take one
excited.
more?
I was actually going to
ahead.
ask her if she. Do you have any last words here that do you feel that the audience in general would love to know?
Yeah, let's tune in. Let's see what this crew would need. What does this crew need to
tune in.
hear today to be liberated, to feel relief in their bones? Let's see.
I like that. Maybe that is the message.
Yeah. Well, I'm just hearing too, it's okay. It's okay to feel. It's okay to be. It's okay. You came here to be who you are. And if you remember that you came here to be who you are, that's the courage that's required to move you through. And that it's okay to be different than those that came before you, because you're here to live at a newer, expansive, elevated level of consciousness, and that it isn't wrong that you're different than them. Sometimes we can carry this guilt of those that came before me didn't have so much, so how dare I shine or have more? And what Spirit is saying is, no, that's divine perfection. They came here to be the one before you, to be that step, to take that next level, to the next step to stand upon. So it's exactly as it's meant to be. And so your ancestors applaud you for going farther, even if they're the ones in physical form aren't showing it. The non-physical ancestors are applauding you for going higher than anyone has had the capacity to do before. And it's who you are. It's who you are and why you're here and who you're meant to be.
Wow, that's great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That was
Yeah.
amazing. Amazing session. If you are watching the replay and you're looking for the special offer, it will be somewhere on this page. If you're watching the live stream, it will be in the caption below. So guys now. All right, I'm going to stop the recording here, but we can continue yapping. It's so funny because when I'm like recording stop, I'm like, oh, I'm free. I don't know what that is. There's kind of like, I know that people can still see this part. It is on the live stream and there are a lot of live people, but there's something about me that I try to,
I just got the
everything
image
that
of
is, we destroy and then create. I just realized that I was doing that right now more than ever. Interesting.
It's a thing, and that's okay. I like that. Whatever that is, I destroy and then create.
I know. I'm like, blah, 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 blah. But I wasn't even really aware until we did it before we started, and I was like all free. And then it was like all of a sudden I started the recording, and I'm like, okay, here we go. And then when I stopped it, I was like, it's interesting that, of course, I would get it after a session where we really talk about being and self-love.
Yeah. To
I'm
see what we're
here's
doing.
me not totally being.
Yes.
In a little more performing sometimes.
Oh, that's something I've had to work through of like, are you trying to impress? Are you trying to do anything? And that's why a lot I've had to learn to like sit back in yourself, Jane. Like, is this authentic to you to say right now? You don't have to. And that's been, lessons, but all self-love of like, we're lovable as we are. But I love that came in with this energetic.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Yeah. It's like, I was telling earlier that my dad always made me, he'd be like, hit me up, give me a little love pat on the knee and say, I'm so proud of you.
Aww.
And I loved it so much. But then when he passed, it was almost as if I was missing that. Like I needed that extra little pat on my leg. And I just felt like, well, nobody's proud of me anymore.
Yeah.
I had to go through that. I had to clear all that out on how I can do that for myself and maybe even to a higher degree.
Yeah. Right.
It's
I
cool.
love that. Like he opened that door for you.
Yeah, he sure did. Because I wouldn't even have been, it was almost like such a part of my life. I wouldn't have even been aware that that was anything.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, Jamie, thank you.
Thank you guys. This was beautiful. Thank you,
Yay.
everybody.
Yes, it's so fun working with people, isn't it?
Yes, and
Yeah.
you'll have to come back and visit us again. This was
I would
so
love
We are
that.
just going to keep
Yay.
this series going, and we are.
I'm sure your work
excited.
is going to grow, and would love to showcase it again and learn what's new and what's, what you've, how things have changed and what you're seeing in the people that you're working with today and tomorrow. So, yay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys. Enjoy the rest
you.
of your interviews.
Yes. Have a great day.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. I'm going to start a recording for us, and then I will get all my. No, I won't.
Can you put your bra back on?
Yeah, it almost feels like that.
Yeah, that's the image I got in my mind. It's like when you get home and you're like, oh, take this thing off, I'm free.
Mine's like, take anything that's constrictive off of me and put on this big hoodie that doesn't touch me hardly at all. I buy these like 2X hoodies because I just feel like big and free.
Blankets and
Yeah.
kind of that, yeah.
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 Okay, so let's start a conversation about, what are we starting a conversation about? Do you want to follow on, or do you just want to take callers? Do you want to talk a little bit where you want to go, Leonka?
Hey, thanks for putting me on the spot. So, if anyone's has any, what's coming up for you? What are some of the things that you're realizing? What are some of the so we really want this to be a really safe space. And so yes, I'm glad that you feel free between these times. And this really is for you. And just know that, if you want to put something in the chat privately, you can send us a message and we will address it and not even say your name on the air. But really what we want is for you to come with from a place of how can we support you to put your best foot forward, to shine, to have that bravery, so that you're doing what you most want to do here in this world. So, hey, let's go.
Yeah.
So raise your hand or write in the chat. And as you're thinking about those things, is there anything that you have that is coming up for you, Jeanette?
There's a part of me from that conversation that wants to talk about judgment. I think that judgment in this reality is just, we do it all the time to ourselves and we don't even know we're doing it. And it's not necessarily self-judgment or judgment upon something else. I mean, it's like any discernment. If you like or hate something, there's a judgment. Any conclusion that you make in your world, that's a judgment. If you are like, as you've noticed, I will point to the brain when I talk about the brain, but I've done some work when I did NLP and hypnotherapy on really how the brain wires its synapses together and how we are so unable to even hear information when those synapses are so deeply wired together. So if you are used to judging yourself, you probably don't even know that you're judging yourself or making a conclusion about yourself, making a conclusion, I can't even say conclusion anymore, making a conclusion that you are, not going to be able to do this, right? We talked a little bit about that, those comments. I mean, that was real. It was like, if I have a facilitator looking me in the eye going, you can do this, right? And I have to actually take in that question and go, I can do this. And then, if there's a follow-up question, then you're just doomed. You have to drop into your body and create change.
Yes.
Yeah.
So why, I guess maybe let's back up for a little bit and even talk a little bit about why is it a problem or so, or to create a conclusion around things? In my mind, I come up with it stops things, it stops the energy. But do you have some thoughts on that you could share?
It does.
Yeah.
Because the question opens the door for greater flow, right? And a conclusion stops all the energy. You're like, it is this way. And that works if it's a math problem. Remember that conversation we had on the 2 + 2 = 4? We're like, that's just agreed upon.
Correct. It is agreed upon. It's a human integer that we all agree upon. And of course, science shows us there's a ton of other, spaces.
But technically that is universal math.
Absolutely.
So it's not
I don't
probably
want to
the
get into
best
all that.
example.
But the truth is that we then have all of these principles laid upon, truths that we have assumed, or beliefs, or even things that we are taught, and that sometimes, Jeneth, right, can stop the growth or the possibilities. And everything is based around possibilities, which is the reason why we always talk about questions, right? Is because the more questions we can ask is the more possibilities that it opens up.
Correct.
What are some of your thoughts on that as well?
Yeah. Well, if you guys haven't paid attention to yesterday's session, or you weren't around, I personally I'm an intuitive, and my talent is usually the medical kind of thing. I can usually see the congestion and what's going on in people's worlds, but I won't necessarily read them. And I will ask questions to see if I can get them there first. And I am very specific on the questions I ask to get them there, because through my own work in personal development, I've found that if somebody just tells me something, it doesn't actually totally come in, and I don't often take action on it. However, if I'm asking you questions and you're diving into your body somatically, energetically, and you're getting inklings of awareness on your own, your awareness, that will create greater change than me just telling you what's going on. Now, some of these psychics that we've had on are absolutely phenomenal. And I'm also inviting you to take that information and ask yourself questions.
That's it.
And here's the number one question I want you to ask your body if somebody gives you information like that. And that is this true for me? Is this true for me? Is this true for my body? And then you'll know if there's flow and there's places to go with this.
Sure. So talk a little bit about knowing, right? So is this true for me? Because a truth will feel lighter.
Yes.
And a lie will feel heavier. So it almost feels like a muck, or like if you're saying something out loud that's not a truth for you, or if someone's telling you something that you're just like, that's not feeling right. You'll feel that in your energy body. And you'll also feel a truth will feel lighter. So whenever you feel more expansive, if something feels just open, that is a truth for you. So you can ask, and that's a form of muscle testing as well. You can ask your body what is actually true for you. And so when you're sitting with maybe a doctor, and I'm not giving any medical information here or advice, but what I'm saying is that if you're feeling that there's a heaviness or a pause here, and when someone's giving you that information, you might want to ask more questions and ask your body, is this true for me? And you can really tune in to and ask more questions about what is actually true for you, and hopefully get closer to your diagnosis that is actually a truth for you. So,
it's funny, when I did this retreat and spoke at someone else's conference probably 10 years ago. And one of the girls there had just found out that she had malignant tumor. And, I was asking all these questions about it to process it out. And then I finally came down to, does it feel light that you have cancer? And she's like, it's weird. There's kind of this sadness within me, but it does feel a little more expansive. And I thought that was really interesting. Like
That's courage.
Right. Because, a tumor is just a tumor, and you could, I guess, energetically, it could just be, what it is, and it could be removed, and then you just go on with your life. But she actually felt like it felt lighter to say in that moment that she had cancer. And I mean, now this was a younger woman. She was probably maybe 45 at the time. And so, it just was shocking when she said that to me. And I was like, great, let's embrace that then. Like, let's embrace that lightness so you can really be in choice to make decisions around it, and then the questions become, is there something you're dying to get out of? Right. And, she's like, yes. Right.
Yeah.
And then she can explore that. And she can make choices whether she wants to go through radiation or chemo or whatever the directions the doctors are. But she has that knower navigation within, so she can really choose the direction she wants to go. And if her direction is, she no longer wants to live, she wants to die, she can choose that as well. Like, your life is your choice. And this is kind of the way that I found is the best way to unleash awareness within and to really wake up the knower within you guys.
Yeah. So Tina says that she says the truth that is, I get body chills. Oh, yes. Yes. That's Jeneth always looks at my arms because my arm here, so I'll just be telling all the truth.
You're like, don't look. Especially on the things that you're like, ooh, really?
Yeah, some interesting things, even things that are sometimes, wow, outside of my realm. But it's amazing. And to your point, Jeneth, about like, it's kind of hard for you to hear someone saying, did it feel lighter for someone to have cancer or to have but it also very much comes from a place of, okay, now she has choice and now she can heal once she had that awareness. But can you imagine being that person being like, I'm choosing this for what reason? If I had cancer, I don't know that I would say it feels light for me to have cancer. Unless I had probably been in one of your
don't have
workshops.
Cancer.
Right. Unless I had been in one of your workshops and really understood where you were going with that. But I do understand that once I had the awareness of, am I dying to try to get out of something? Maybe it was a marriage or something like that.
Right.
Right. Like where you feel super trapped. Then she could choose from that other space and maybe make the changes. Because our diseases, our dis-ease is information. All through and through. And our bodies are giving us these signals every single day. So first, like Jamie said, there's a gift in that. So what was that gift in the cancer for her? I can't remember exactly what she was dying to try to get out of.
It's been a long time. I just thought it was a good example.
I think yes. And let's say it was marriage. Then she could look at that and now not die to get out of the marriage, but make the choice of, okay, let me address this marriage that I feel like I'm dying with, and then in turn also heal myself through the questioning, through the awareness. That was pretty deep, but thank you for sharing that. Anyone else?
Money, thanks for the comment on the stream about that is, I love the conversation on money and just falling in love with money, right? It's like was such a biblical term about how money is like dirty and evil and all these things. And my father was very religious. And, that's like where you got to start. All the parental, everywhere where you've been trained to what your parents did around money and all that is, would you destroy and uncreate?
Yes.
It's a place to start. I have, in the bonuses, I have something called Sexy Money, and it goes through 11 different paradigms. And it's a free conversation, right? Once you opt in, if you look at the bonuses, it's right there next to Lisa Nichols. I was actually almost going to take it down. But it goes, I have a whole course about clearing out all the paradigms that you have around money. And you know
It's
what?
quite profound.
It's hugely
Changed my
profound.
life.
It changed me.
Yeah.
But so I, just so you know, I have my own stupid money story, which really, at the end of the day, it came up with me not being good enough, right? All that self-worth stuff that I feel finally good enough. But you know, a lot of it stems from that. Just I'm not good enough. You know, this, that, and the other. But there is so much to go through as far as clearing out money issues. But I think if I were you today, I would start with everywhere that I've aligned and agreed or resisted and reacted to my parents and the way that they did money and all that is, just destroy and uncreate that narrative, and that story is no longer true. And once you start clearing out some of these things, then you'll finally get to the choice within you where you can start really opening the door with money.
A couple comments, Jeneth, on the chat. So again, back to what we were talking about as far as health, to take us back there for a second. It says, so it sounds like you're saying awareness opens up the solutions we need. And then to take that further, so that was from Andrew's phone. And then to take that further, it says, so how do we find out what is making us sick? Lana writes, is there a process to follow to figure out where our ailments are coming from and how to resolve them?
Absolutely. It's all awareness. It's the same, right? So you would just need to tune into it and start asking questions. You know, I know we've talked about it so many times, but I have a huge hip injury that's healing. I shouldn't even call it huge anymore because nobody would even know, because I don't even limp anymore.
Can I just stop for a second? Like, when Jeneth came in and we started to, about over a year ago, we were just about to start this endeavor, and we were just talking about it again, and she came to me, and I hadn't seen her for a little while, and so she came through my door, and I mean, she couldn't walk. She was just a different person. She didn't look the same. She was holding her hip. She was her face was different. Like she had this look in her eye, like I am in pain. And today to see her with so much vigor and she's swimming again, like this is leaps and bounds. And I think it's because you got back to what you knew and how to first, of course, investigate what, you know, and use outside of regular medicine to solve, but to also, she was really asking her hip what it required.
Yeah, that's
what
where
it
we're going with
needed.
this. Yeah.
I mean, I'm talking about, they told her she couldn't walk and was going to have to live like this for 10 years.
Well, they
Before
said
she
that
could
I
have
need
the
to get a hip
surgery.
replacement.
Okay. Yes.
And I was like, no, I'm not getting a hip replacement. I'm not ready. I'm too
Or that
young
you had
for a
to
hip
wait.
replacement was
Yes.
basically my point of view.
And I was like, Jeneth, you have to live like this for 10 years? And they clicked.
Said that it really wasn't exactly ready. There's parts of it that has no cartilage, but there's other parts where the cartilage is fine because of the way I injured it. So as an energetic healer, that's where I started with myself. I started with the awareness, asking questions, and just really getting into that hip and going, what is going on with you? One of the questions I asked, does this belong to me? Which it still doesn't seem like it does. And I still have, come the end of the day, I do feel like it does need some rest usually. But in general, it's fine. I can, can't run a marathon or anything, but it's fine. I ended up doing stem cell therapy, but that stem cell was energetically called to me.
Yep.
So, it wasn't even that, I could say, do this, because the only reason I even did the stem cell therapy was because I had an acupuncture appointment, and I was in meditation during the acupuncture appointment.
I love this.
And I heard these words that was like, listen. And I thought it meant just listen to my hip. And I'm thinking, dude, I'm doing that, man. I'm doing it. And as soon as I walked out of the acupuncture, I heard this ad commercial on the radio, and I don't even listen to ads and commercials, and it almost sounded like me. And she had a very similar thing to me, and she's like, I'm jumping around like I'm 20 again, and I'm 55 or something. And I was like, well, I was told to listen. And so I made a phone call when I got home, and I just thought, I need to inquire within, I need to literally inquire. And that's where that went, was I started stem cell, and throughout 9 months of that stem cell, I was in misery, because you can't even take Advil, which was my one little coping drug. So I just was like, okay, well, I want this to work. I'm not going to take the stuff. And that's where the awareness, came through. And as, we went through the stem cell, and I was still just having a little problems, limping along. And, then what came through next was to go get physical therapy, and so I did that. And literally that was the thing that turned this like 180 degrees in the right direction, was when I started to do PT regularly, and, really learned how to work with my leg. I learned that this was from some scoliosis in my back. And, literally I've been walking incorrectly like all my life. So, oops.
Lots of, and so that, I think that's
So
a
to
bigger.
answer their question, you want me to go in?
Go ahead.
I know it was a long story. But to answer your question, as far as physical healing, just go into that area in your body. If you have a shoulder thing or a neck thing or a stomach thing, just go there and just, go, okay, what is it? And start with one simple question and see if anything comes through, and you've got to just be there with it. It can't come from your head. It's really got to come from who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait,
I was going to say one more thing to that. It also, thank you for your comment, Anita. I know you sent it to us directly.
Yeah. We're not.
It's very beautiful. One
not
more thing
naming
to
those
that.
direct people.
Well, she said did. I just didn't read it.
Okay.
So one of the things that that also jumped in my awareness for around this, experience that you had was, yes, you were asking your body, yes, you were asking the pain directly. And when your guides told you to listen, necessarily the message didn't come from another meditation. It came from you specifically. I'm listening to the signs around me. So everywhere where we're not being open to some of the signs, or we may be missing that, would you be willing to destroy and uncreate that? Great, take a breath. There are so many bigger and better. Consciousness uses everything to get our messages. It could come in the form of a conversation that you have with your best friend, and you're like, girlfriend, I knew you were going to say this. Well, those are those messages that consciousness uses to reach you. Just like Janet said, she said, I don't even listen to ads, but it sounded like her voice, like something about it felt like a truth.
Well, it's like, we have this like double number, triple number thing coming through like all the time. We're like, hey, 333, and we'll text it to each other. And this has been going on for months and months.
Since we started the show, right?
It's literally like we can't not see it.
I think our guys are really happy with this.
I'm sure we're not the only one here that sees these triple numbers. And that's kind of our indication that we know we're aligned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These are real things.
Yeah. I used to see all that when my dad passed, and then it went away, and then when we started working together again. So I almost feel like my dad's on the other side, like conspiring. Lana, for you specifically,
Oh, yes.
I didn't totally address it, but I would be with it and I would ask, what is it that you're sick of? And you might even be like, I'm sick of this symptom. And that's okay. But I do ask you to go deeper than that. That would be where you start with it, and go from there. But that would be the main question specifically for you. What is it that you're sick of? And I'm sure you've got a laundry list of them, because I'm thinking there's probably about 6 things that you're like kind of sick of in your life. So that might be for you to kind of play with and maybe just address like the easiest one. Take the easiest one. I'm really sick of making dinner every night, right? If it's something, it's not that simple. I know it isn't, but
It can be, though.
yeah. I looked into the stem cell patches, by the way, and it actually didn't feel light. So,
But the stem cell, I think you're spot on, right? So
Yeah,
that's probably why you got that message
yeah,
for her.
right. Money stories. Yeah, we can talk more about
Let's
money.
talk money.
Yeah, maybe I should even see what else we've got. Ooh, lots of triple numbers, man. We actually were thinking, since we're on Central Time here, I know I write everything in Pacific, but we were actually thinking of starting this at 11:11 Central. And I thought, well, there's too many time zones that it'd be like a little confusing for people. So, it's just easier.
I do see 11:11.
Yesterday, I think Tina on the stream saw the 777 from our first speaker, and I looked that up on Amazon, by the way. It looks like, you can get all the different numbers.
In a necklace?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm going to have to figure out which number I want to get for me and Leon.
I'll throw a link in there too.
Yeah. Fun.
One of the things too that I remember seeing and hearing is that those numbers, the repeating numbers, I know that they're kind of cheesy and whatnot, and maybe they're not for us.
We need a good numerologist on the show.
Right. They're
you know
not
of
for
one,
us.
let us know.
But but some people are like, okay. But I really, really believe that, what are you saying in those moments? What are you talking about? What were you thinking? Just stop and ask yourself. And sometimes those are your guides. No, I'm not saying sometimes. So those are your guides that are communicating with you, and they are saying, yes, right track. You're on the right track. If you're sitting here and you see, duplicating numbers, then it's like, yes, join more of the, listen on more shows, stuff that nourishes your spirit. If you're having a good conversation or a good thought, even if you are, sometimes my family and I will run and I give my son like a hug and a kiss. If I see a 11:11, like it's a little sign of love, like, different things in which that you can celebrate, and your guides love it whenever they are acknowledged, because remember, we have free will, and so they can't just jump up and tell us all the secrets, right? So these are the reasons why we came to Earth, to have our to have the forgetting, but to have the lessons. And so when they are able to communicate with us and we receive it, boy, they love to just come in and show us more.
So the stem cell I had, it was literally, they take the gunk from your other hip, and they centrifuge it to get out all the stem cells, and then they inject it back in the hip. Like it literally is quite the procedure. There's not a lot of pain though. It's you're numb, but it is a 9-month thing, and there's this they do PRP from your other blood. Like literally they'll take it from your vein and they take out and centrifuge to get whatever PRP is, and then they inject it back in your hip, and that actually feeds the stem cells. So after you get the procedure done, if you guys want me to talk more about it, if there's a bunch of you, I'm happy to talk about it. But no, it's not the patches, by the way. But thanks for the questions. But that's, I've heard about the patches, and I did look into that, by the way. And I trust that they work well. Okay, so what do you want to do? Some finances, specifically
some
with one
money
of you
talk.
that just wrote in. Overgiving is an actual real condition where people do that, and that's also done for love. So here you go. Overspending and overgiving are often signs that you are looking for some validation from others in your world, or some self-love for yourself. And it might not still be going on, but you've gotten in a habit, you've trained your brain, literally those synapses went together, and now all of a sudden, you don't know what to do with yourself because you are in this constant pattern. You can change this through hypnosis, of course, because that's my way to really, really kick things in the ass. But some of the clearings around that is asking, like, what is this? Why am I choosing to overgive? I mean, you're the one that's saying it, so you know you're already doing it. So number one, everywhere where you haven't totally 100% acknowledged that you have an overgiving, I don't even want to say it's an issue but an overgiving is an issue for you. And everything that is, would you destroy and uncreate all those constructs that's creating that? And take a breath. I think it's even better when people have this narrative around money and they know exactly what it is. I love that because it's so much easier and spot on. And then with hypnosis, you can kind of have a different visual for your life so that you don't see yourself over giving. You just see yourself maybe giving when you're called to give.
Yeah.
Because there's a big difference between, giving it all away. My sister has a little bit of an overgiving problem. I love it about her, though. Get lots of goodies. And sometimes she'll just like throw things in the mail for me.
Oh, how sweet.
It's just kind of sweet. And I do think it might be a problem for her too. But, she's never asked for help. So,
One of the things that also jumped in my awareness too is I would implore you to maybe look at getting an Akashic Records reading, or even doing some of the past life regression. You can do that through a QHHT. Those are things that I also work on. But what jumped in my awareness is sometimes those are from a past life where you had a true benefit for overgiving. Sometimes there was a gentleman from yesterday that I think it was, I'm sorry, I can't remember who actually it was, but the story or the image that I got in my head was, giving to have an allegiance to have the land that he was protecting or she was protecting, to have an allegiance to them. And it was a she, and I remember who it was. But those things will show up in our current lifetime. They're real things. That we don't know, and subconsciously we are still trying to overcome some of that adversity that we had experienced in our past life. And sometimes we just have to tell our subconscious, like, hey, we don't need to have that anymore. We don't need to have that type of protection, or we don't have to buy someone's allegiance to fortify our land or whatnot. But just some food for thought. Yeah, just some food for thought. That might be coming up for you, and that's kind of what jumped in my awareness was sometimes those things that were like, I know this about myself, but I just cannot understand why I can't change it. Sometimes there is a benefit that we really received, even life or death benefit that we received in a past life.
Mm-hmm. And if you guys do want to raise your hand and we can process you, I'm happy to do that. And so is Leonka. So,
oh, great. I've changed with overgiving, someone says.
Yeah. My father was so into money, and he said, there are rules on money, and you never ever give money and expect it back.
Yep.
Never ever. It's
My grandpa
always
said
a
the same
gift.
thing. He said the fastest way to lose friends, and I didn't know what this meant when I was young. He said, Leonka, he's a really wise man. Really. He really was. And he said, Leonka, the fastest way to lose friends is to give them money. And I thought, wow, that's weird, because, I thought that I'd be friendly, and if I to loan them money. To loan.
Loan.
Yes, because he said, A, you'll never get it back, and make sure you know it's a gift. And B, if you are trying to get it back, those are the people that will elude you. And I thought, oh, that's so weird. But I was some interesting words that I kind of lived by.
Yeah.
For better or worse, right? So that
Right.
becomes a belief.
Wow. Yeah, no, it is. In fact, just recently, my sister did ask me for money. She wanted me to kind of partner to invest in her business, which I had no interest in doing, but she so just wanted the money to get new property. And it was just so icky. I just, I was just like, no, this is not aligned. Like, can't you tell that that's not aligned for me? Why would I want to invest in something that I have no desire
So
to
it
do?
felt really heavy for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
To use the truth and lie.
Yeah, it felt so heavy. But then again, she's my sister, and I want to help her, and I want everything that she wants in the world, right? Or no? I mean, at the end of the day, clearly I didn't. So.
I wonder if other people come up against that, like where our family asks us things where they feel like that we should give into.
Should.
And what are our some of the stuff that comes up for us? I mean, I think that for me, it's always like family first and everything, everything that is, right?
Yeah.
Where there's a lot of guilt there. I mean, for a long time, my mother is 10 years recovered. She's got an amazing story, y'all. But when I was in a very codependent relationship with her, I paid for a lot of stuff for us. And I gave a lot of money. And it was to the point where if I said no, I felt guilty. I mean, she and I have worked through this. We've got such an amazing relationship now. She's, gotten her master's and now is a costume designer at Disney. But when I was young and when I was growing up in my 20s and all the way through my 30s, I was the caretaker for my mother. And I felt guilty for having a more affluent life where she was struggling. And I don't know if other people come up against this. And I think that's the reason why I kind of felt myself leaning toward spirituality and really coming here to find out where that healing is from my heart.
Yeah.
Wow, I just got really vulnerable with you all, but I just want to know if other people are feeling this way and how can we support that too for you?
Yeah, and who we are with, without the head stuff around this, right? I mean, I think that that's my journey now, is to really get myself into being so present that I can just follow the dots. Just totally surrendered to unlock and unleash the different dots that are awaiting in front of me. A few years ago, I made this program called Whisper Mapping, and it was literally, is there a whisper in my world, right? And then from that whisper, is there a choice or is there a question, right? To open the door for more. And I would just play in this. And I do hands-on body work, right? In fact, we even talked about, can I bring out the massage table and lay somebody down and do some body work? It's not Reiki, it's energetic synthesis of being, or symphony of possibilities kind of work. And one of the things that I really get with this is you've got to be so present with that body that it is just like whispering one whisper at a time, going to the places that you need to go, asking the body what it needs to ask. And sometimes you even have to ask the person on the table, okay, what's going on here? But it's quite profound work. And usually what it does is it gives people this yummy deliciousness of being. So
One person said that they'd be willing to come on live if there was time.
we have a few more
Yeah, we have
minutes.
a couple more minutes. Let's take you live if you want to. You sent the message direct. Let's see. Anita, if you're willing to unmute yourself, we'll definitely take you live. If you've heard. There she is. She's coming on. Hi, Anita.
Hi, everybody.
Hola.
Would you like me on video as well? I'm happy
You don't
to.
have to
My
be.
hair's okay. Okay. Thank you.
So what's your question?
Well, so it was in regards to the money stuff that I had shared privately with you all. And you all were offering, I don't know, my head's kind of in a swirl.
Okay, but yeah, well, it wouldn't. Put your thumb down.
I don't have my thumb up.
It's like thumbs upping us.
I don't think it was me. So Anita, can you give us a little synopsis of what, just so that the broader audience kind of knows? You don't have to go into specifics, but it would help to facilitate.
And I
Sure.
can and we can go into the field too if you, I do need to know your age and where you're calling from as far as like the world.
And for me, I need your first and your current last name, or your current name, whatever name you go by.
Okay, my name's Anita Lane.
Okay.
I'm 52
Mm-hmm.
for just a monthish longer. And I am in Oklahoma, United States.
Okay. It's funny because I was trying to put you in Europe for a second.
What's your question?
So my question is around how do I clear these blockages around cash flow? Like it just, and I wrote in private message to you all, there will be tears if I come on live. So, and I always want to say sorry, but I'm not, because I know
No, that's
because I
what's
know
clearing.
it's clearing, right?
That's right. Right here, right now. You're doing that right this second. Thank you.
I'm almost like dumbfounded is the word I want to use. Why cash is not flowing my way. Because since my dad has passed after caring for him, I have done so much to try to restore, replenish my identity, myself, my worthiness, and all that, because I poured so much into him, that overgiving thing that you all were talking about. And I look at the finances and I just don't get it. Like, I don't get why it's not
Well,
flowing.
Was there a time where it,
A trickle.
okay.
got it.
Thank you.
Want it?
Was there a time where it was flowing?
It's never been, well, I won't say never been easily flowing, but it hasn't flown in a while.
So what happened then?
When it was flowing?
Right when it changed.
Well, it changed when I had a thriving business, and I decided to move from the area I was living in, and I'd say follow God. That's how I say it. And move somewhere and go to school. And then after I did that, then I decided to come back where I grew up and be with Dad because he was getting older. And then we started going into medical crisis mode, and that's just consumed my life until he passed. And then, yeah.
Okay. So question, how much of your energy is still with your father and dying with your father?
That's where I start wondering why things aren't shifting,
Mm-hmm.
because I have finally, because I went into deep anxiety and grief, deep, dark,
Yes.
ladies, dark,
I'm sorry.
like scary dark. Yeah. That has been lifting and coming out
Good.
in layers this last year. So November of 2022 has been coming out, like the grief aspect of it, and then the worthiness aspect of it has been getting restored since maybe August, September last year. So
Yes.
yeah.
So
I
go ahead.
don't read her as like having financial issues.
Oh, good. That means it's not hers. Go ahead.
That was going to be my question. Like, who does this really belong to? And I get that money's still a problem for you, but if you would have to say that it belongs to somebody, who would you say it belongs to?
Right off the top, first thought, I would say mom.
Okay.
That's first thought.
That's what the read I got too.
Okay.
How much do you deeply love your mom?
Deeply love mom. Yeah. And
Yeah.
and she has passed as well. And she passed suddenly anyway,
Yeah.
before that. Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. Your dad comes through real clear, but your mom doesn't. And it seems that she may be on the other side hiding or trying to heal. Like she's not yet can support you. Does that make sense?
Possibly. Yeah.
Okay.
In some way. Yeah.
Do you often get in touch with your dad? Like through on the other side?
No.
Okay. Because
No,
he seems readily available.
Yes.
And he also seems to
I'm getting a lot of love,
contribute if you'd ask.
which might be surprising for you. Sorry.
Yeah, it might be. Go ahead.
Well, so you all are explaining like what transgressed when mom passed. So on the human planet realm that we are on right now. Sometimes I don't know how to talk about all this, right?
It's okay. Another week.
And so she passed, and I did feel like I didn't have my backup. Like I didn't have my support, even though I didn't need it from her. Mom and dad were always there as backup support if I needed them. But then when she passed, I didn't expect it from dad. And then he showed up when I was at school with some financial support and this and that. And then when I was caring for him, like in the physical caring for him as a caregiver, as he was sick, he covered me financially. Like his retirement covered me financially. And so then when he passed, then it was like, oh, you know what, schnitzels, because I'm like, now what? And yeah, but then that aspect with mom, like the way you all are talking about it, it describes like what I felt on planet Earth when she passed and that kind of thing. So I've been wondering if that's at play somehow. Yes.
Well, this is what's kind of going to be a little short here, but I think right now, Anita, it's really for you to ask for the contribution, ask for the support.
And be willing to see it in a different way. So you've been accustomed to seeing support come in the form that have known in the past. So financial contribution can come in various different ways. And I get this image of all this unlayering, so that 2022, like finally coming out of that dark, it's going to rapid fire. But you have to be willing to allow the contribution of everything. So even if it's like,
I get it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So even if it's whatever, it's $5 on the street or whatever, even if it's a quarter, you give so much gratitude for that one quarter that multiplies. That's that unlayering, that dark that you were in. I see you emerging, but I also see those layers unpeeling really rapid fire, but you do have to allow that in and then give a lot of gratitude for the ones that are coming in.
Anita, are you working a job or doing actual something for income right now?
No, that's and that's where the struggle is too, is I never thought trying to find a job was going to be so difficult. And I hate saying the words hard or difficult because I don't want to add fuel to that, the nature of it. But I have been totally surprised. I'm like, what? I'm like, usually everybody loves me. What is going on? You know?
They still love you.
Yeah, it's an interesting market for sure.
Look outside of the tradition is what I'm really getting for you, and just be really creative and generate income.
Yeah, and
You've got some private
you are
gifts, too.
supported.
Yeah.
You know, I know that sometimes when you're in this, it doesn't feel like it, but I get that you're one, by the way. You know, everyone's got God. You actually are supportive and specifically on this.
Okay, so you all are
So
talking about in all the realms, but I'm thinking mostly in the physical realm. But you all are talking probably more in the spiritual realm.
Well, it works together, doesn't it? I mean,
It does.
I guess I look at us as an infinite being in all things, and even in the creation of wealth. And maybe I can give you a little bit of that mindset so that this becomes easier. You know, how can you even reach out to yourself beyond your physical and ask yourself what's required, or what inkling? It's almost like an inkling that it'll start with. So
take a look at that bonus for Jenith that Jenith has. Is that Sexy Money? It's a money course.
Well, yeah, so that's just an interview I had with somebody years ago when I made this course, and I've probably had 350, 400 people go through this, and I've got testimonials up the wazoo on it.
Take a look at that.
You know, it used to be like a $200 course. It's like now $37. I know you probably don't feel like investing in another course, but you know, if it calls you, I mean, like literally, it's always about the call, right?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, so whatever calls you,
If it feels right for you.
yeah,
If it's the truth for you.
it's true.
And it's Sexy Money, and it's on your website.
So when you opt in, you get bonus links.
Okay.
Yes, at the very first opt-in. It should have been the first email. Hopefully it was in the first emails. Yeah, for the summit.
That's for the summit. Right. Okay, I got you.
Right. And I was actually going to take it down, but now I feel like maybe I shouldn't, because, you know, it's an older course and the frequencies have changed. Although that in general, when you're going through and looking at these various areas of your life to be different, I mean, all my work is really comes down to being, you know, being who you actually are. Right? Being you, because nobody here on this planet is really them. Except
no one
for
else
there's a few of
you.
them out there.
Okay.
Awesome. So we're at the
Thank
top
you.
of the hour.
Yeah, I don't see Marilyn on though. We do have a call in, but I don't actually see her name here. I'm going to stop the recording. Oh, you're so welcome. All right. Oh, now I can be free again. I'm just kidding. Actually, I think I'm over that now. It's kind of awesome. when the recording's on, I'm like all like, let's do everything right. It's funny. You guys, if you want to go ahead and raise your hand, you know you want to work with Maryland, go ahead, put your hands up because you've been on this call all this time. So this woman I met, oh my gosh, 10 or 12 years ago. And she literally came out of the blue. And I was talking with, other intuitives just in general, like we still are. And when she was on the call, I was like floored. I was like, what? Like, how could you possibly know this information?
All right, so the link is not working. Hang on a
Okay.
second. This is live, y'all.
Yeah. Well, glad we jumped on and checked the mail for sure. She's she's not as
She'll say it.
tech savvy. She'll say it. She's not as tech savvy as,
But she is
she's not used to
good at
coming
what
on
she does.
camera. We used to do this on the phone. But my gosh. And we are offering sessions with her for just $150. So if you don't get called and you do like her work, she's always a person I go to when I'm like, yeah. Maybe I should probably ask her about my hip though. We'll see if it comes up as light later. We have a lot of callers, so. Oh, here she is.
Yay!
Yay. Let me see. Now I gotta go find her over here. Where'd she go?
There she is.
Yeah, she didn't have her audio on yet. So I am going to,
Asked to start video.
yes, but I first want to pin her. Marilyn, I don't see that we have audio on you yet. Oh, wait, do I want to merge with audio? Marilyn, can you hear me? If you can, I cannot hear you. Maybe I have to click merge.
Tina, you said that the link
Oh,
wouldn't
here she
work
is,
Friday
here
the
she is.
10th time it did?
I'm going to add her as a pin. There you are. Hi, Marilyn. You're muted. There you go. Still can't hear you though.
Marilyn, try hitting your space bar. She can't hear us either. It's her audio.
Yeah. Maybe we do need to have you on the call. Do you want to phone in? We could give her a number.
Yeah.
We can't. Can we chat? Let me chat with her.
Hang on, everyone. This is what we get when we get live. So just bear with us for just a second. And we'll get this going. You might want to tell her to drop and come back in.
Okay. Let me. Okay. Yeah, let me try reality TV. Yes, something like that.
It is very much.
I'm so into reality TV, you guys. I never thought I would be. She can't, I don't think she's seeing the chat either.
Yeah, hang on just a second.
So. Do you have the phone number to have her call in? Oh, Valentina's back.
I don't have the phone number.
Okay, I think I've got the invite link. It's so easy to do the invite link before you've gotten on this thing though. See, Sometimes I'm not that tech savvy either. Well, invite, here it is. Copy invite invitation. I'm gonna message this to you. There you were, messaged. Okay, there you go. So if you wanna, can you see your text messages from your computer? No. Do you want me to email it to you? Literally, guys, this is live. But we will get her on because, oh my gosh, she's
Yeah, you do need
so
to email
incredible.
That's funny.
It's like my favorite of all of them. Here, I can email it to you. Just a second. All right, there you go. It has no subject line.
Okay. Just a second. All right.
All right, thanks you guys for being patient with all this.
Hey. Hi. Hi. Okay, so will you drop and come back on? We're gonna try your audio again. There's a little button that says join audio. So exit the room. Everybody gets to hear me troubleshoot. So exit the room. And then come back and and then there should be a little button that says join audio. All right, she said, can you see her now?
I can.
In worst case scenario, we've got a phone number here that you can just call in. Okay, you're on my phone number, so there'll still be a different phone number that I'll send to you via email. But I thought I'd try you here this way first. She's got mute. Did you unmute?
You guys were troubleshooting if you just have joined on.
Okay, she said she unmuted.
Okay. Marilyn, just go ahead and talk. So far I'm not be able to hear
Yeah,
you.
I don't have her connected as audio. Okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm sending you this phone number and you're gonna use the phone number and the passcode to get in. Or you can. No. Okay, she left it. You left all the way?
I've seen her microphone show up and then
I
go right back
know,
off.
I do too. I just can't see, I just can't hear her.
Hang on just a second. Is there a way for you to end the whole session? So just get all the way, exit the room. Can you click on a button that says leave? We want you to leave and come back.
Yeah, I think the microphone,
Leave meeting, yes. Okay,
she's
sorry,
not
I
very
figured
tech
out what's
savvy,
going on. Okay,
but,
leave meeting.
and she will say that herself.
Okay, now go back to that link
But
and come back.
she's so
slowly.
good. She's so good, you guys. Just wait around. Well, while we're doing this, why don't you in the chat put your last favorite movie? So what were some of the movies that just
right
lit
now-
you up? I'd love to
Okay.
hear and get
And then
recommendations
it's gonna
too.
ask you about how you wanna do your
Oh, well,
audio.
Marilyn's back, maybe. I think she's back. Connecting to
You
audio.
wanna do Wi-Fi.
Okay, Marilyn,
do
can you
Wi-Fi.
hear me? There, you're, okay. Unmuting. I just muted you. Or you muted you.
Okay, so we got
But-
mute, right?
Marilyn, Can you hear me?
Okay, she says, can you hear you? So unmute yourself. So click the word mute.
There you go.
Hey, can you hear us? Yay.
I still can't hear her though.
Oh, we can't hear you. Try hitting that. Try hitting that button one more time.
But not that button. Just maybe her mic isn't working.
Oh, maybe your mic isn't working. Okay, so what I'm gonna have you do is I'm gonna have you call in from the telephone. Just keep your video going. We're good. Okay? Just keep your video going up like that, okay? So I'm gonna hang up with you and I'm gonna send you some phone numbers. You're just gonna put that phone number in, it's gonna ask for the passcode and you put the passcode in, okay? Okay,
Ooh,
all right. Ready?
Cabernini.
Okay, I'm gonna send that over to you right
I
now.
haven't even
To
heard
your
of that.
telephone,
What's that
you
about?
need to call in as well, okay?
Ooh, Wonka. You know, I still haven't seen Wonka. I would love to see that. That looks so fun and light. All right.
Technology.
There you go. Yes! Yay! I'm
Oh,
so
you can hear-
excited. All right, let me.
Hey,
I
we've
know.
got you. Can you hear us?
Yes, yes.
Ah, yes.
I've been talking you up, and we have a lot of callers on the line that have already raised their hands because I have talked you up.
So good use of time.
Let me start the recording and I'll tell you how I've talked you up.
Hey.
Oh, we're excited.
Hey guys, hello everyone, and welcome. I'm Jennifer Plackert, and this
And I'm Leonka Reyna.
is the Hot Hustle Show. And today we're talking with Marilyn Parkins, and she runs a medical intuitive center, a college. And years ago, like I want to say 13 years ago, she just kind of popped into my realm. And I had this incredible interview with her. I mean, it was, blew me away, some of the awarenesses that she had that I was just like, how is that possible, right? I mean, now, as you've seen, we are intuitive, but we are not that intuitive. And Marilyn really, really knows her stuff, especially when it comes to bodies. So when I started the show, so Marilyn totally went away from my world. And for whatever reason, when we started the show, all of a sudden, she remembers me and I remember her, and she pops up in LinkedIn. And I'm like, wow, I haven't seen that name in a long time. And wow, I'm doing this work again. Marilyn, you don't even know, but I took a few years off, but I'm back and you are perfect for this show. So it's really an honor to have you. I'm just giddy in my seat here.
Well, thank you so much. It's an honor to be here and see you again and wonder where the time goes.
I
But here we
know.
go.
I cannot
Yeah.
believe it. All right. So we've got some hands raised. Do you want to talk a little bit about about the college and how you work with clients, just for 2 or 3 minutes, and then we'll go ahead and take callers, because
Okay. Sure, that sounds good. Well, the college has been around since 2002, and it's the International College of Medical Intuition. We're global and really loving it. We actually started out of the University of British Columbia, ran it there for 3 years, which is really an honor, and then decided to go private, which is what it is now. So basically, what we're doing is helping people to learn. We don't teach at our college, which sometimes surprises people. We help people to learn. They've already got, everybody's intuitive. Everybody has the ability to develop their intuition, and it's simple and it's quick And you want accuracy is what you want. The longer time you spend in processing for intuition, the further you'll be away from the level of accuracy, because you have to stay in that right brain. So it's better to know nothing, like a first name, maybe an age, and that's it. And you'll get incredible information. Now we've just launched a new program that is absolutely incredible, and I'd like to talk about that for a minute here. It's called Innate Intuition, and we're taking it global. And basically what we're doing is training instructors to train more. I originally developed it for doctors, doctors that don't have time. But intuition doesn't take time. If you're spending time, give yourself a check, because it doesn't take time. Basically, with this program, we don't allow the students to spend any more than 3 minutes doing an intuitive assessment. So what that is also working with the energy that we have available on the planet. Cut me off whenever
I'm loving
time's up.
This
this.
is awesome. I could let you talk.
I was more thinking, how do I stay in my right brain all the time?
Well,
Right?
you know, the thing is that you don't give yourself the opportunity to do anything else. You know, it's like when you're deciding to bake a cake. Well, if you think, well, okay, I'm going to go wash the car first, and then I'm going to do this, and your cake's never going to get baked. It just won't. But if you focus on just baking the cake, that is where your mind will stay. And one thing that we really need to learn is that our mind functions our body. It's mind over matter. We've heard these things. We're not putting them into practice. You know, I don't know, but anybody that's working with intuition, you will know how much time you're putting into it. You're putting time into it. It's like baking that cake for 3 days when all it should take is 10 minutes. And so that's just a small little example of how this works. The more ability you give yourself to distract, the less you will get in information. What really changed my mind a lot is looking at our animals. They're instinctive. They know the natural earth. They know things. They know how to discover things. Horses, dogs, and they're being used and trained for so many things because they don't get distracted. They know and they listen to their bodies. We don't. Like as humans, we're just all over the place, and you know, it's something that you really don't need a training for. And when I look around us and the things that we're doing, which is a whole topic in itself, we're at a place on this planet that clearly is not working well. And I'm not saying that to be pessimistic or negative. I'm saying it because it's reality. And coming from a world that we are not understanding what the truth is anymore, we just really aren't, because it used to be when I grew up, if you listened to the news, it was true. It was just true, and you believed it. And now that's not happening. So it's altering the complete vision of how we look outside of ourselves and what do we believe. So we really need to rely on more than our external world. Because when we do that, we're going to go off course because there's too much information out there and it becomes confusing. So even more reason to pay attention to what's going on inside of us. You know, I think there was a song or it was a movie, Looking for Love in All the Wrong Places. And that's the element that we need to choose. I don't think any of us would be on this program right now if love wasn't our choice ingredient to live our life by. However, fear comes in there, and fear is much stronger. It's much stronger than love is on the planet right now. And that
Yes.
needs to change. But when we start looking outside of ourselves with what food we should eat, what kind of water we should drink, like what we should do, and somebody says this and somebody says that, and then it's just so confusing, and we end up being so confused that we don't know who we are. And this is why intuition is so important, because when you're in touch with that in its simplest loving form, and I can't exercise that word simple enough, because somehow as humans we have become to be thinkers of I grew up with if it's not difficult, then you're not doing it right.
Yeah.
Keep your nose to the grindstone, keep working, keep hard working, and don't have fun, because then that's not the way you should be. So we're coming from a lot of those things that we've been told that aren't working if we were really honest with ourselves. And do we want to be living the life we're living? And I don't think we do. Or if we do, we're fooling ourselves to compromise and say, okay, well, this is okay for now.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing should be okay for now. You know, this new program that we've got, I wanted something that would be fast so we could emanate our animals. And that's intuition is spontaneous. And the other thing was turning it into something that would be fun. Like, how about that? The other thing is something that you would make really good money at. And if anybody wants to make 400,000 US a year, then this is a program for them. And money's not bad, because money can drill wells in Africa. Money can give you the lifestyle that you really want, not what you need, but what you really want. And that's important. Those things are important. And you're working 1 day a week, about 5.5 hours that day. So if anybody wants those things, or stay with the 50 weeks a year and get paid not much more than minimum wage and take 2 weeks vacation. And I don't know, I've been trying to find the history on how that was developed, but we've all been blindsided. We really have. Does anybody really want to be living that way? No.
Right.
But we are.
Yeah.
Until someday when things get better. But you know what? We die before that happens. If we keep on that track and that way of thinking, we won't succeed. And it's so simple. It's so simple. We've got to want it, not think we need it. We've done neediness all our lives and settle for neediness. Well, it's okay for now. It's okay for now. No, for now is all we've got. That's what we're guaranteed. We don't know what our direction is going to be. None of us do. We really don't.
Well, until we inquire, right? Intuitively, that's when we start knowing our direction is.
Yes and no. Yes and no. We could be far too human about that. And that's what I'm seeing happening, is that humans are processing intuition as a human as opposed to spirit entries. And then when we're using time, we can't get where we need to be. Time and spending time and processing and having a whole program to go through before you can be intuitive, that's wrong. It's not the way it's meant to be. Intuition is very spontaneous. It's a feeling. It's not thinking. And humans don't know how to stop thinking.
Yes, we are aware of that.
Yeah, and you know, there's a little tool to use, which is actually quite fun. And what that is listening to your vocabulary. You can start doing it with other people.
Yes.
And the word, we think, we feel, and we know. You know, the model, the mind, body, and the soul.
Yes.
We think in the mind, we feel in the body, we know in the soul. So when we speak, We do it automatically. And the biggest word, the most word that we use is, I think this, I think this, I think this. And
Yes.
you're making decisions. Well, let me think about it. Well, then, okay, hang up. You're going nowhere. Thinking is very logical, and it works great if you're having a picnic on this train track. Like, wow, isn't this cool? And there's this big light coming towards you, and it ain't spirit, it's a train. Logic will tell you you should get off the track. Like, human, remove yourself because you're in danger. You know, and logic is
Love
good for
that.
that. But we have been scientifically programmed and trained that if you can't duplicate things, they don't exist.
Nah,
And
total
I'm
fallacy.
yes, it is. And I'm sure that everybody on this call knows that. We all know that, but we do nothing about it because we're well-trained little monkeys. We do as we're told. We truly do. And we need to just watch ourselves because our language will tell us. So pay attention to the words that you choose and don't go and say, I think, oh, no. I mean, I feel. You're lying to yourself.
Well,
You
it
don't
shouldn't
lie
even
to
go
yourself.
through thinking or feeling. It has to go directly to I know.
No, because we
No?
need balance. We need to think, we need to feel, and we need to
Okay.
know.
I see.
Um, Knowing will get us to that place where we're connected best with the
Okay.
spirit inside us. But we can't be any one place at one time. We're not designed that way. We're multifaceted. We have to think, like I said, the train track, picnic on the train track, train coming. We there are logical decisions. It's just that it's overrided with feeling and knowing. Way overrided. And if you pay attention, you'll see that for yourself. So the feeling component, we learn to turn that off at a very young age when we don't understand. Like we're so intuitive when we're born. We bring it into our world. We're open and then we shut down. And then we set the patterns that we live until we die. And most of them aren't good because they're survival patterns. And when you're surviving, and pay attention to this sentence, when we are in survival mode, we cannot be in our dreams. Our dreams are coming from spirit. They're already in us. Gloria Steinem made that claim many years ago. If they weren't in us, we couldn't dream them. But we don't live them because we're so busy surviving and just putting food on the table and living through the energy of 2 world wars and a depression and a pandemic now. And we won't go there. I won't go there, but that's a whole other story. So we can't do it. We just can't. So consequently, we end up leaving the planet realizing, oops, I forgot to live. I forgot to love. I forgot to have fun. And I'll tell you, when people are in therapy, they're not having fun. And therapy should be sweet and short. And we've been told, oh, you didn't get here overnight. You're not going to get better overnight. It's going to take a long, long time. Well, there's the mindset. And guess what? It takes a long time, if ever. And we shouldn't be in therapy. We shouldn't be, not for a long time. I've discovered that going in to the body and a method that we've been using for a long time. Oh, get to that source, pick at that scab, make it bleed, hurt again. How well is that working? Really look around us. We're a product of our past, our belief systems, what we've done, what we've implemented. And we have created everything that we see in front of our eyes right now. Nobody else, us humans on this planet. Who else has? Nobody. We've created what we have right now. We have to take responsibility for that. And it's a messed up world. And yet we have to be honest. It needs improvement. It does need improvement. And that means change is inevitable. And we have to change. And we have to want to be loved, want to love, want to be happy, want to be healthy. We want those things. And we're the only ones who can make it happen individually. That moves into collectively. And it's important. So I am here to talk and implement and educate the need for change. Because if we keep doing the same thing, we're at a critical mass here. We really are. And I'm not saying that to be negative or scare you, but we all need to open our eyes and look at what is true for us, including our environment and the world around us. The world right now is on top of all of us. We're counting on the world to structure us and direct us. And that's not the way it should be. We should be, as humans, on top of the world, looking down on creation. We should, and takes the weight off of the world. And we all know what that weight is like. It's really imaginable.
That's like so profound. I mean, you know, I guess we kind of think our parents are the ones that are our world, especially as a young person. So we're always looking outside of us for guidance, world for guidance, and the president, and this, that, and the other. But that's quite a profound statement. That's beautiful. Wow.
That is so true. We all do that. And I feel a lot of it is psychological conditioning, which if you don't know that, it's being done on this planet. A lot of control factors that have been going for a long time. And again, we're well trained. The powers that be, and I'm talking on the planet, don't want us to be whole people, because then we won't be controlled. We'll become, thinkers for ourselves and listeners for ourselves and feeling for ourselves and being ourselves. Like, try and control that. It can't be done. So the conditioning that we've all gone through is a reality. It's a huge reality. And that's why people look outside, because we have been trained very, very well. But we're not functioning well. We're ridden with disease. Disease is just epidemic. We're being told to learn to live with cancer nowadays. And whatever we're told, we believe. And whatever we believe, we create. It's as simple as that. So people see all these things.
I know a lot of the audience is probably nodding their heads and they're like,
I'm like,
what? Yes, we know. And we're still in this paradigm. So,
but you know what it is? It's a choice. And I can't stress that enough. People think they have to go through 1 trillion years of education and counseling and all of these factors. We've been doing that. We've created this world. This is the product of what we've been doing. We all need to understand that, because we think it has to be long or it's not effective. We've set up the conditions. But if we change our mind by making a choice, I'm not going to do that anymore. And that's just the way it is. And talk to spirit within you and say, hey, I'm going to need help here. I'm going to need help from inside, where my intuition is, where spirit lies, where they connect and they guide me and you and everybody on this planet. And then you watch for signs. It's like going on a road trip. It's going on a road trip of life. And there'll be a sign here and a sign there. But you know what we do then? We see the sign. And, oh, isn't that interesting? Wow, that's so cool. Go on this way. and we don't pay attention, or we talk ourselves out of it. Oh, okay, well, it's not the right time now, but I'll maybe do that later. Don't ignore the signs, because then you know what happens? Spirit, if they've got arms, they throw their arms up and say, well, this human's not listening, so I'll go on somewhere
Just
else.
gonna hit her with the Mack truck instead.
And then sometimes they don't listen. Yeah, yeah.
Well,
We're sleepwalking. We really are. We talk about, turning into zombies. Yeah, we are zombies. Look around. We don't follow spirit. We talk ourselves out of it, or dreams. I can't count the number of people who said, well, yeah, sure, I have dreams, but that's for other people. And you know what we ignore doing? We don't take the action. And we have to take the action.
yeah.
We have to make those choices and make it simple. We're making it
Yes.
so difficult.
Well, sometimes
So
we don't take the actions because we've got the narrative and the point of view that we can't, and all the other crap that goes along with it. So it's not necessarily that we're just not taking actions. It's mostly that
We believe
we're
some other
stuck.
story. Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, literally in
you've
our own
got to change
head.
your mind, and you just truly do, because really, if we were smart humans, and we're not all that smart, we wouldn't again be where we are today. Again, because we think it's complicated, but we are telling ourselves a story. Nobody else is. Nobody else is. We have choices to make. We can go left or right, up or down. We can do that because we really are intelligent and we have such potential. But apparently we're still only using 10% of our brain, and we function by our mind, but we do all kinds of things to shut the mind down. And that is not good for us, as we can see. And if we were honest with ourselves, we should never be putting ourselves, well, this is okay for now, because for now we'll be ending up all that we do have. And we're not happy with just that. There's a saying, you get what you settle for. Don't settle. Don't ever settle, because we're capable of so much more. We need to be going through life saying, oh my God, you wouldn't believe what just happened, and oh gee, this, and oh my goodness, what a coincidence. No, they're not. They're not. They're purposely planned. And expect that from life. Expect the fullness. But when we're working that 50-week year, wow, we're so exhausted. So things have to change. And one thing that's really, really good is we have incredible energy on the planet for the taking, for the asking, that you can change a mere thought into a mountain. We have the ability to do that. Look where we have gotten ourselves. And I think, I don't know if you know the composer Yanni, but he kind of coined that and said, with a mere thought, we can create anything.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well,
not
Marilyn, I think that I've kind of prepped the callers to, they want to develop their own intuition. In fact, we had a caller type in earlier. She's like, how do I know what's making me sick? And so I'd kind of like to is it okay if we take some callers and take some questions? Because they are here wanting to develop their own intuition. And they also have possible conditions that they want to get some advice on or some direction with. So is it okay if we just take some of the callers to see kind of where the conversation goes?
Yes, wonderful.
Great. I'm going to take Meredith because we missed her earlier. All right, Meredith, you're up.
Hey, thank you. So I wanted to ask, I feel, I guess I should say I'm highly empathic, and I really feel others issues. And it's been challenging for me my entire life, but I've gotten to a stage where I'm learning how to figure out what's mine versus what might be somebody else's. And I've gotten into this world of learning clearing, grounding, and shielding, cord cutting, and return to sender. I still need to get better at that, so it's not fine-tuned. However, it's been a really unusual experience for me because I've actually had issues where I've gone to the doctor because I also want to make sure I'm not ignoring something.
Can I stop you for one moment? And to all the callers that will be calling in, if you're wanting me to comment on anything that's going on with you, don't tell me. Don't tell me what you're suffering.
Okay, I'm sorry. I will stop.
No,
So what do you pick up on, or what do you see?
Well, first of all, I want to address what you have said, which is really so complicated. And when I was talking about the simplicity of how we function is something that we need to adapt to, as opposed to old techniques that have been around for years. We can evaluate how well they're working when we look outside our windows of our eyes. They're not working, and maybe they worked, years ago, but they're not working now in today's energy. As I said, the energy is very, very quick. But, here's the thing, is you're wondering about what you're doing and how it's working, and should it be this and should it be that. You're the one that should set up the standards of how you're going to function. So that means, okay, what do you want in your life? What do you want your world to look like? And then make those choices. And then look for the feelings from within you and how to be guided. Spirit will speak to you. Spirit should be guiding you. You shouldn't have to do anything to your energy if your mind is in control of the rest of your body. So then you don't have to be looking outside of you for the right things to do, the right food to eat, the right water. Like I was saying, that doesn't work. You set up the standard. I'll give you a little example. Again, this is going back like years ago for people who use pendulums, which don't really work all that well because our energy controls it. But they said, oh, well, the pendulum was doing this and it was doing that, and I didn't know what it was doing. Well, then set up the standard and talk to the pendulum and say, hey, go back and forth for yes, go a circle for no. Done. And life is that simple. But when we complicate it, that, oh, well, the book says do this, do that. And I read another book and said, do this, do that. Just live. And that doesn't mean we have two choices, fear or love. Break it down to simply that. Like the more you add on as adjectives, the heavier you become. The heavier you become, the less you can flow through your life. Does that make any sense?
It does. I think the part that I have a hard time with is I take excellent care of myself, and it'll catch me off guard sometimes because I decide how I want to live my life, and I want to live a very healthy and joyful life. And when these weird pains or ailments come over me, it takes me like by surprise. And that's the part where I didn't know if there was anything that I could do maybe different than I am doing, because it is so odd to feel so much of other people's ailments, and then you discover they're not actually yours.
Well, but you have to set that up. And what I mean by that is if you're practicing with somebody, you set it up like you just don't even go there. You are only responsible for your energy and whatever goes on in your body. So you got to be very, very careful that you don't cross that over. Don't go there as a thought, and you won't go there. You'll only remain with your own energy. And then that's where we got to clean up some of the energy of, not all, the energy work that we're doing. If you set up the conditions of how, again, you're going to live is, and that's changing too, because it used to be more that there was the need for the healer to help the person who needed healing. And now what's happening, it's changing that the healer just gives you the bread and butter, and you eat the bread and butter, or the person eats the bread and butter, and they heal their body. And it's as simple as that. And it has to be, and it works. It works really well. So we need to change up on what we've been doing and go into rapid movement. And I'll give you a quick example of what I mean by that. We should not be doing techniques that came out 80 years ago or 100 years ago. That doesn't make sense. Like, even traditional medicine is far more advanced than that. They're keeping up with change, and change is inevitable. And I think we'd all agree with that. So doing things that came out long ago should be left back in the past. So I'm going to show you a little example that really defines how energy is moving with the planet now and how we need to move with it. And the example is, I had a person come in for treatment, and she lay down on the treatment table in my office, or in the treatment room, and I see things, and sometimes it's like a little TV in front of me, and I saw this scene, and I saw it within a split second, because I don't want to waste time. And it's not just me that can do it that way. We all can do it that way. Ask, receive. Simple as that. I don't even ask, because it's automatic pilot now. So I know that, okay, I need information. So I saw this scene, and I just, oh God, it was awful. It was just awful. And what came to me was, I can't share this in case I'm wrong, because we can be wrong. We're human. And I thought, I can't erase that, because it was just so bad. So I also heard 18. So I just gently said to this person, I said, did something happen to you? And I didn't go in and say, oh, did something awful happen to you when you're 18? No, did something happen to you when you're 18? Keep it simple. She flew up. She started screaming at me. She said, how do you know that? Nobody in this world knows that. Nobody else in this world knows that. And she was screaming and saying, you have to tell me right now. How do you know that? And then she started crying. And she was just crying so hard. And then she stopped and looked at me and said, is that why I have cancer? And I just said, yes. So she swung her legs off the treatment table and she walked out of the room. That whole process took maybe 2 to 3 minutes, and she was gone. And I didn't go chasing her, because healing and how we treat our bodies is an individual decision to make. We're making it anyway, whether we like it or not. We truly are. And sometimes our number's just up, and it's time to go. And nothing's going to change that. So we've got to be really conscious of how we treat others as well as our own bodies. Anyway, she never did return, and she was very, very ill, obviously ill. I thought she died. So maybe about a month later, I'm at a conference, and this woman's walking up to me and comes up to me and gives me a big hug. And she whispers in my ear, the cancer's all gone.
Wow.
And I looked at her and I said, well, what did you do? And she said, nothing.
Awareness.
I just let my body heal. I did nothing. I didn't eat this and drink this and howl to the moon, and I did nothing. I just let it be, to quote the Beatles. I just let it be and went about my life, and I started to live.
Live.
So
And sometimes that is it, right? And sometimes cancer is there to make us make a choice to really live. Am I
Exactly.
wrong?
Our body, bottom line, the thing that I have really learned is that it's a messaging system. It's trying to talk and communicate. So this happened 27 years ago. She's since passed away. Cancer never did return. That was it. She was healthy. I didn't recognize her when I saw her. But I want to tell you something that's really, really important. And it set the stage that I really need to share. We became very good friends throughout the years. And we never, ever mentioned the event. It was never brought up, nor did she use it to pick that scab and make it bleed all over the place and hurt all over again. She just put it to rest because she was going to be too busy living. So it turns out she was a
Living.
doctor.
Right. So the
And
victim mentality that she might have had with that went away as soon as she became aware.
but that's the way we think about a sick body. We don't realize we're doing it to ourselves. We're choosing it, or we've chosen it and we're experiencing it. But the big thing to take away is how we've been treating it. Ridiculous. And I'll go back to because I've done my stint in conventional medicine, and I think back to gallbladder incisions, for example. You know how tiny that gallbladder is? I mean, they take it basically out of our belly button now, but it is an 8-inch incision back in the day. 8 inches to get that tiny little gallbladder. But things, they don't do that anymore. And so we've got to really change it up
I see what
in
you're saying.
working with energy and not do these old things like the grounding and the centering and that, whatever that means. We just need to be. Just be you. Just be you. Love yourself, love others.
Who's like,
Oh, Mestre says that's just about being.
I mean, that is my work, is to get here to actually have them be. And I do know that sometimes they have to take some meditation to actually get their vigilance system down, to get them into use. I know you say no, Marilyn, but I'm saying sometimes they're not where you're at.
Oh, hey, no.
You can
That's,
change my mind if you want.
We can have more, yeah, for sure. And that's why we have you here today, right?
Yeah.
So that you can share this with us.
I was told, and we're all told, it's not just me. It's just, we are all told. We just don't listen. But
well, that's the problem. You have to quiet the noise to get to listen.
No.
Okay.
We're doing
Oh,
it.
yeah,
so
she says
wrong.
this, yes.
We're doing it so wrong. And
Okay.
sometimes I wonder if some of these techniques and what we've been told are actually coming from the dark side. And oh God, I'm going to be shot. I'm sure I won't walk out of my house anymore because I'm going to be targeted. And I've sat with a lot of this for years and years. We have never promoted meditation, for example. And I listen. I think it's so cool. I love that connection. Like I really love it. And I find it works. So then I continue to use it. Again, it's like a good recipe. You continue to use it. But here's the thing that happens with meditation. I don't ask why. Okay, we just aren't going to use it. Okay, no problem. I don't meditate. I never have. I have my quiet space and I like to light candles, but I never, and the danger part with this is all that stuff that we talk about that we're told to stop those voices in your head. I think that's the thing that we're told, is it not? When you meditate.
Kinda, but I don't actually
stop that.
Yeah.
And when we're stopping that spirit connecting with us. That is spirit connecting. That is how spirit comes in. And sometimes they want to come in like 100 voices in your head at the same time. But you can't control that and say, hey, one at a time. one at a time, or hey, you know what? You guys work it up out there, and just one person send me a message. We're in control of our
I like that.
bodies and our minds. We
But
forget
what about
that.
the stupid intrusive like worry messages and things like that? Like that's not really divine,
Well,
or
it
is
depends
it?
on
Or am I
what you.
wrong?
Any message, any message is important, but you don't have to receive them 1,000 at a time. Like I remember when I started lecturing, and the voices came, and I'd say, you have to go away. So then they'd come in spirit, like out in the audience, and there's some, I didn't know, are you spirit or are you a human? Because there'd be so many, and they'd be standing by people, they're all wanting to talk. Spirit wants to talk with us so badly. They
Yes.
truly do.
Yeah.
So we can't shut them down, but we can organize it. We can take
Okay.
control over our bodies, minds, and souls, and talk to them, because you want to keep them interested in you, because they're our lifeline, and we want that information. But never should you say, oh, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. This is happening. This is happening. Yes, you do know what to do. You just say,
Yes.
Doc, this is the way we're going to play the game. I'm in charge, and I'm going to listen to you. And you're going to talk to me one at a time, so that I'm not going to be confused. You're going to tell me clearly what you want me to do. And if it isn't clear, I'm not going to be able to hear you. You understand me here? You understand me? Because I'm in control of me, my body,
Yes.
my future. And you're here to help me out. And every human being comes equipped like this. So we should never be confused, because when we're confused again, we go into that stressed out. We can't be living our dream, which is
Yeah.
why we're here. We're purposefully here. We all,
So if
every one of
somebody
us.
so if somebody does have a pain in their body, you're literally saying they just need to meet the pain, and whatever comes through comes through.
You know what they need to do is pain is inevitable, and what it is, and we need to change our mind again. It's not disease, it's not pain. It's our body getting to a stage where it's tired of trying to connect with us, that they're sending out. You feel this now. It may start as a little twink in our body, then it gets stronger, because they think that we can't hear them. And we're not listening. We're not coordinating
Right.
messages
Well,
from our body. So what you have to do is, if there's a pain, then say, hey, pain in my hip or back or whatever, head, what's the matter? Tell me what's going on. Talk to it like you would a child. Talk to it like you would. I was so shocked when it was just recently, the students were giving looks like, what do you mean talk? Talk to the energy, or talk to my pain in the butt, or whatever. What do you mean? Just like we're talking now. Make it something, because it's making itself something. It's causing pain. It wants to talk
right.
to you. So
Yes.
then,
Yeah.
and then listen to see what that pain has to say, and it will settle down. It will settle down. We need to communicate, and we may not know that. And I'm thinking likely most people, if not all, on this call can relate to that. But whoa, do I know people out there, if you told them to talk to the pain in their butt, what are you talking about? Like, that's not a language that they would communicate with. But you can simplify it, and that's why keeping things simple. Telling your others and your own body that it wants to communicate. It has the ability to do it. Again, we need to keep moving and learning more, and not staying stagnant with old stuff. and speeding things up, because what's happening, we have a simple model out there that really evolves us into communicating with our body through spirit. And everybody can do that. Everybody. And it's so essential that we simplify things. But we that's a choice. Again, that's a choice. And that means just saying, okay, the rest of what I've been doing, I don't need anymore. I'm going to set it off to the side here. I'm not going to do that because I find it confusing. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not getting the results I want. I'm going to assess that is not working. So I'm going to try something different. And that different would be, I'm having a pain. Talk to the pain. Intuition.
Can we take a few more callers, Marilyn, just so that they can kind of, tap into their world?
And they can,
and
see the work.
Yeah. I want them to kind of see your work and how fast you work.
Yeah, this is interesting.
Ganesha, I'm going to unmute you. And if you don't unmute, then I'm going to take Lana because she's been asking a lot of questions. All right, Lana, you're up. Is everyone just like in the zone? Hi, Lana.
Hi, it's been really nice listening to all that you're saying. I've been through so many Western doctors and given so much blood for blood tests, and no one knows what's going on with me, and I just don't really know where to begin. I have been doing a lot of healing work, but I don't know, physically what I need to I don't know what to do to get rid of whatever ailments are in my body physically. I'm trying to work spiritually and be positive, and I've made some changes in my life.
Okay. So you're doing the things that you know best. So pat yourself on the back. That's good. We want to do what we feel is best. And then if we get to a plate where we find, okay, maybe I should try something different because I'm not getting the results. And my heart goes out to you. I'm not putting our traditional model down, really. I'm sort of not, as much as I cannot do it. But we don't and are not finding a lot of answers there. Unfortunately, we're just not. It's a different model. It's a very conditioned model run by the pharmaceutical companies, and it's really not giving us what we need. I'm seeing a lot of people, much like yourself, going through pure hell. Having things that they're feeling in their bodies aren't showing up through our traditional diagnostic tools. And, a lot of things that are very, very frustrating. And bottom line, we're still being left with feeling the way we are and like we're going in circles. So what I'm going to tell you is the physical body and what the physical body does, what our body does is gives us these physical signs. And then we think, oh, there's a sign. These signs are the last resort. They're the last thing that comes to get our attention. There's things before that. So when we treat it from the last event instead of from the beginning, we're not going to get what we need. But we don't know this. Traditional medicine, you've got a tumor, breast tumor, cancer. First thing they do is surgically remove that physical part. And it used to be, they would just take that whole breast off and all the lymph nodes and muscle under the arms. And in my day, women, it was far worse than it is. But it's what they did, and likely what they knew. I don't want to be putting these things down. It's looking for better solutions. So when we look at the body from the physical and what's happening right now, we won't get there because we're looking in the wrong place. We're looking to try and find something, searching for something that isn't going to solve the problem. And this is where intuition and energy comes in, is, okay, following it back and never doing it from the physical perspective, because that's not where it's like, okay, here's a simple form. You've got a weed growing in your garden. The root is what started the weed, right? Okay, so if you take the top of the weed off, it'll keep growing back because you haven't got the root. But furthermore, you need to understand why you need to pull that root out. Our bodies are like that too. Whatever you are feeling in your body right now has a root. And that's where you need to go. So it's a message. They're all messages. And that's where intuition, you using it for yourself or for others. And this is why when we go to a practitioner, because I don't know of any programs out there teaching intuition that are doing it, working from the start as opposed to the finish line.
So Marilyn, I think she's asking, she didn't know where to start though. And I think that that's common throughout, I mean, I have a hip thing that I have followed the energy and it has gotten easeful. I don't know if it'll ever heal itself, but
it might not.
I feel like,
yeah, it might not even be in the hip. I'm going to go back to that story.
Yeah.
Age 18 came up.
I already know that it's not.
But that's
okay.
That's the way things are today.
You're sharing your I'll be quiet. I feel like I've been put in the corner.
No.
But I think that she doesn't. So she's like, I have this stuff going on in my body, and you're saying, don't go from the physical, go from the energetic root where this began. Okay, no, okay.
And you may not know where that is, but again, go back to when we're setting up intuition or listening to spirit, same thing. It's the same thing. And that's the basic thing to take away from this conversation. Simplify it. You have to get that connection, that communication with spirit and say,
okay.
I mean, spirit knows you're not feeling as good as you can be, but they have the answer. So for your hip, don't look in your hip because you're not going to find it there. It won't be there. Go back to that woman that was ridden with cancer, likely had a couple weeks left to live. As it turned out, her cancer was terminal throughout her body. And a month later, it was completely gone, less than a month later, with the word 18. So, and we can all do that for ourselves. And the person that I was just talking to, I'm going to talk directly to you again, to ask spirit and tell them clearly, I need to understand. I don't want to be guessing anymore what's going on in my body. I've done enough for the physical. Maybe I'm realizing that's not the way to treat it anymore. And I need your help. Let's be friends. I'm going to listen to you. And be clear with me, as clear as you can. Shout if you have to, because I'm a little hard of hearing, because we are. Until we get it kind of established, and then Bang, we're off all the time. You have to tell them, I don't really understand spirit language. So speak English loud and clear so me, this little mortal human, can understand. Set that up so you're not going, what was that? Was that spirit? Was that, should I do this? Should I do that? Blah, blah, blah. You don't want to do that. And we've all done it. And we're going to drive ourselves nuts in a very short time. So keep it simple. You look for the pain in your hip. Yes, the body's telling you got a pain, but it doesn't matter where it is. That's immaterial. The physical part is we don't want to, you can't treat it from that part. You can't.
Interesting.
Remember, take away everybody that's listening, because I could go on and on and on and on and on with stories that have
So
nothing
one of the
to
things
do.
that I was saying during the right before you came on is, I'm highly intuitive, and I can often kind of see things that are going on in people's bodies, but I don't actually like telling them what's going on. I like them to kind of unearth it themselves. And I feel that that's where what your message really is as well is, I could give you some inklings of what's going on here, but you need to know how to do this for yourself.
That ultimately is what has happened. Is what has happened is these people, since that first incident, and well, we'll take it from there. The problem was never discussed. Never again. And that's the way it goes. And even if I'm given the information that I feel I can, share it, it was an event. It's never about the physical body. The physical body is the last, and that's where traditional medicine is treating in the wrong way.
They're just putting like a veil over it so you feel better, instead of
And it's
going
not
in and
worth
actually changing the dynamic.
Yeah. And that's the way they do it, because that's what they know and have been taught, and they're not going beyond that to search. However, they are far better than we are in energy medicine. Energy medicine is just stagnant, and it's old, and it's not going anywhere. Boy, we need to change that up and simplify it. And it's not. We need to recognize too that it's not about the physical body. We do not have that in any form of instruction at this college. It's about spirit, and it's about connecting with your spirit and your intuition. They're simultaneously the same. And take that model of a very, very sick, dying individual that 18, not even the age, just 18. I'm assuming it was the age, but I don't know that. I heard the word 18.
Right.
Something happened when you were 18. Well, yeah, it did. And that's all it took. Do you see how simple this can be? And anybody can do it. This is not just my method.
Yes.
Anybody can do it. And that's what we're teaching and simplifying, and you get to where you need to go. Students in this program can't take any more than 3 minutes because they don't need it. They don't need it. I was interviewing a lady yesterday and gave her an example. I gave her a name of a person, first name only, and walked her through the process. And within seconds, she got what she needed. It was so simple. And then when the person hears that, when they hear that from a total stranger, that's part of the turning point. But it also hit the chord inside them that needs to be gonged. And then nothing more needs to be done. Nothing. How
I like
simple is
that.
that? That's where we need to be. We like the
That
whole
makes
meditating and what should I do as a human and how can I improve myself? Hey, you are improved. Tell yourself you're improved. You're super duper. Let's go. Just like that. That's all you have to do. You want to make a long, drawn out, this course, this one, that one, this book, that book. Do it. And in 10 years, you'll get there. We don't need to be doing that. We're wasting this wonderful fast energy. That needs to be understood. We have a
Thank you for
model
that.
we're all avoiding because we can do it this quick. I've been doing it for 27 years because it was shown to me then. But I'm also, I guess, part of a college. I never saw that coming, that's for sure. I did not be a little girl dreaming of College of Medical Intuition, for God's sake.
Put it in
Um,
college.
you know, I'm really
Well,
still
let's
shocked.
wrap up this call. And Marilyn, why don't you tell them, we can put the link in and around this video about the college. Why don't you go ahead and share a little bit about the college and, the process to enter the college and the new training that you have with the innate studies?
Okay. Yes. Okay. So one of the things that we're looking for is like the nucleus group to come in. So I've been interviewing students and enrolling them, and so you can just get in touch with the college, International College of Medical Intuition, or email me, Dr. Parkin at shaw.ca, SHAW, and get in touch. There is an interview process to go through, and the start date is anytime. When I say anytime, I'll clarify that it's
you get
as
there.
soon as possible. So if you're interested, but we do not have traditional classes as far as what you've likely been taking. An instructor, and I'm doing instruction right now as well, works individually with the person, so that you're not looking over the shoulder and how are you doing it? How are you doing it? You're going to do it your way, and it's going to be unique to you, and it's going to be inserted into your mind, body, and soul, and it's going to define you because it's going to ignite that spirit in you, and that's really all you need. That's your tool to connect beyond you. And again, you want to understand it clearly. So just get in touch, and as far as doing contacting me to have this applied to you so that you know what's going on in a better understanding, so that you can do something about it, because you can do it. Please believe that with all your heart and soul. You're so much stronger than you realize, but we do need to get stronger. And when you're connected with spirit and not your physical body, because our physical bodies can be so cumbersome. I mean, for the lady that I was talking to, like just listening to your voice and the tiredness in your voice, you've been dragging your physical body around for long enough. Switch to your spirit now, because you're ready for it, and it's lighter, and it's far more full of love, and that's where we all want to be. We all want to be there on Easy Street, because we've done enough of the hard work. We don't need to be doing that anymore. We're here to love, live, and you can be shown how to do that, but it'll never be with your physical body. Never. It's approaching it from the wrong place. It's like trying to feed yourself through your butt. It's not appetizing. It's really not. So we're doing things backwards now. Might have worked in the caveman days, and further up, but they're changing drastically. We're just not getting that. It's a strong message, and it's an easy message, and it's a loving message, and it's so simple. Don't make life hard. You don't deserve that. You don't. And those of you, get in touch, because it's a special thing that we're doing for those that are going through the system and having problems with the system. The thing that just get in touch with me, because I'm gathering these people that are having these problems, including myself. People are being told, we can't treat you until you see a psychiatrist because you're basically nuts and you're a hypochondriac and you're not going through these things, and how can we treat you? And we don't understand. The things that are being told are awful, awful. And I hear that in the voices, and my heart, sorry. We got to stop doing things that aren't working anymore and thinking that we can get it working. It's like trying to start a Model T. It's not going to work anymore. It's just not going to work. We have to move forward. I keep telling people, jump off that cliff. Jump off the cliff and land in the beauty that's here for us. We got to do it.
Yeah.
We can't keep doing. I can't stress that enough. I don't like hearing the pain that's in the world from people that are feeling awful. And you don't have to feel that way. Remember, 18. That's all it took. 18. And that wasn't just for
Marilyn,
her.
do you still do intuitive sessions like that? Can you still do that for people, or have you really transitioned to teaching them to be intuitive on their own?
I give them the tool, like the 18. I give them the little tools. They know. It's like giving them a key, and that key opens up their heart and their soul. They feel it. They know it. That woman, 18, meant the world to her. She knew.
Yeah.
We can't.
Yeah.
Continue. So I do.
Yeah.
I do what I need to do. I quit doing this years ago, but in my head, it never quite got there. And it doesn't take a lot of time, but until you experience it, you're not really going to know. You're not going to know what it is. I can talk about it. It's like an orgasm. You can talk about it. Yeah, I think I had one. Well, if you think you have, and you haven't. Like, you have one or you haven't. It's so simple. That's the same with life and with our bodies.
Right.
Simple little thing.
Yeah.
We can't keep complicating our lives because we're choosing to do it. If we can get to that point, then we can unchoose it. We can. We really can. And us women got to stick together.
Yeah.
Not that men aren't going through this, but sadly, it's a lot more women. A lot more patients are mainly women. And they're going
I think they're
awful.
just open more to things that say intuition, to be honest. I
It
just
used
find that women are a little more open when it says the word intuition.
Yeah, it used to be women's intuition.
Men need it, but they're just closed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so are you okay if we put a session out there if people want to have a one-on-one conversation with you as well?
Sure. Yeah. Do that. I think that's similar to what we did before. Was a short time, but it was so valuable.
Yeah.
It also showed
It
me
was.
back then too that medical intuition was global. That was, like you say, at least 13, 15 years ago, and it needs to get out there.
Yeah.
Education is so important, and
Agreed.
awareness. then we can make better choices for ourselves and stop punishing ourselves.
Yes.
Yes.
That's what we're doing. We can't do
Yes.
that anymore. Breaks my heart. Oh God. No.
Oh,
So
yeah. Well, Marilyn,
yeah.
this has been absolutely phenomenal, and we will be in touch. From
Thank
everybody in the
you.
audience. There's so many questions on the chat
Well,
things,
thank
so
you. Thank
I'm
you
gonna
all.
go
And I
ahead
think there's
and
a lot of intrigue too.
yeah, and
Yeah.
I just want to put my voice for the last note. I really think I don't even want to say the word think anymore, but
Well, but
I sense that there are more people that are really going to do this
Yeah.
for themselves and really start working their own intuition. Because I know from like when we met, I just knew that I had a little intuition. And I and I know now that I can trust almost every whisper in the world, right? So 13 years later, and me continuing to work this, I do trust the whispers and I do trust the guidance. And
yeah.
I think that, this direction is the way. And I oftentimes I'll get messages for people, and sometimes I feel like I just better keep my mouth shut and ask them a question so they get to it themselves, because it has to come through their body.
No,
So I
it doesn't.
loved this
No.
conversation. It was so beautiful.
Yeah, don't set up conditions, because the operable word is unconditional. And we're in the love team, it's unconditional love, no conditions. So don't set up, well, this is the way it's
Okay.
done, or this is, don't go there. It complicates things. And
I
we
just
don't
meant
want to
this was
work
the
with it.
evolution that you were speaking of.
We don't want to
Gotcha.
work at things. We want to have fun with it, play with it, because it is such fun and it's
Yes.
magic. It's magic. It just truly is. It's the greatest thing that we can give ourselves first, and then give others. And we can't give to
Yeah.
others if we don't give it to ourselves. That's just really common sense. But keep
Yes.
it simple.
Yes.
Keep it loving. Don't put conditions that I have to take this step, that step, this step, that step, go
Got
this
it.
direction, go. No, flow, flow, flow. Structure
Yeah.
is good for building a high rise,
I cannot wait to
Linearity is
not
learn.
a life.
dead.
I cannot wait to learn more. I am so intrigued, and I think that I speak for a lot of people on the line. So, I mean, I am all about it's moving fast and move fast with it, and then be the
Yeah.
evolution of it now. Yeah, it's beautiful. Thank you.
And have fun.
Thank you
Have
for
fun.
dedicating your
Yes.
life to this work too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thank you,
Yes, will
my
Marilyn.
do.
This
pleasure.
has been amazing.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me on, and
You're so welcome. It's just such a joy. But yeah, it's been so long. I can't. You're just amazing. So thank you.
well, we're all amazing. We truly are, and we need to all realize that, and not in an egotistical way, in a loving way, that we are all absolutely
In the
wonderful
truth,
people.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and not any better than the next one.
Beautiful.
We're not. We're not, but we're wonderful,
No.
and we need to know that. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies,
All
so
right, you
much.
guys. This is the wrap. Thank you.
I can't wait to
Okay.
speak with you again.
Oh, me too. There's so much to tell, so much to share,
I
and
I
know.
know.
and
I
uh,
know.
and that's good. And I look forward to having the individual contact with people, and which is always fun. Like it's such fun, and finding that piece of track that you go on this one, like go on this one, and have your own dedication to know that okay, that's right, and then pay attention. It's a little twerking, a little bit of twerking, but it's not work. It's not work. Have fun, and you'll get farther. in life. Period.
Working's fun.
Oh,
Very much so.
Thank you,
Thank
Marilyn.
you.
okay. Take care.
All right, you guys. Thank you.
Can I share something quick? This is Tina.
All right, guys.
Remember I
Sure,
said
go for it, Tina.
yesterday I told you guys that my partner who passed, his name was known as Easy. Well, beside me I have Easy Street. And when I put in the message, it's yes, 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 this is for me. All of a sudden she said about Easy Street. And I was like, oh my God. He's speaking. Oh my God, my body's
There you
touching.
Oh,
go.
that's so
He's
awesome.
speaking so loud to me. But it was
Consciousness will use
amazing how
everything. Ah!
everything Marilyn was saying, the words, different things. I'm like, oh my God, he's coming through to with her. Just even the last thing he said.
That's
Even
so
the
awesome.
orgasm
Thanks
thing.
for
It was
sharing
like, oh my
that.
God. So anyway, I just had to share that.
Thank you for sharing that. Yes.
Anybody else have takeaways or feedback that you got some awareness on the line?
Awesome.
Well, great. Tomorrow we have, who do we have tomorrow?
Let me look it up.
We have Cinimon. Cinimon Clark.
Cinnamon's going to be really fun. And
You've had a session with her. I don't know too much about her.
sure, she's a hoot, y'all. Like, and when I say hoot, y'all, like that, like it's fun. She dives right in, and she talked to me about being neurodivergent because I have just a different way my brain works and the way I process. So she just brought a lot of that to light. Really helped me see some gifts, and it was like that. So that will be interesting to have her on, and she'll also be offering some time to be able to spend with you as well. So that's super cool. And then after that,
Tomorrow we've got Ahumna.
Ahumna. Oh,
talks
she's
about
good
money.
too.
She
Man,
talks
we're gonna
about
have a
money.
fun day tomorrow too. Gosh,
Yeah, she's
it's been so great
energetic.
today.
You'll really like her. So join us. We are actually going to go first tomorrow and probably for the next 2 days. So if you join us same time, same place at 9 a.m. Pacific, we will be here and ready to play. Anything else?
No, I think that's it. Thank you today for joining us. Continue to write in your comments at team@hauthustle.com. We are going to give away some prizes at the end of the week. So let us know what you're thinking. And also visit us on all the interwebs and on Instagram. So love to hear your comments and any of your takeaways. It's been such a blessing to be with you and to facilitate.
We love the
Yeah.
participation.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for participating. It's just been great. It really
Everyone's
moves the
changing.
energy.
Yeah.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day. We'll talk tomorrow. Bye, everyone.